What is up, and welcome to Ask DLF or Taco Tuesday or Waffle Wednesday, whatever you want to call us. We are here for you to answer your questions. That's the goal of our show. Everything fantasy football that you want to talk about, and we're going to help you dominate your Dynasty leagues. We have one football game under our belt right now, and we will be getting more very soon. I'm excited to talk about everything, including Josh Jacobs, for some reason playing more than any starter has ever played in a preseason game ever, or at least maybe that's what it seems like. And but I am Cal. He is Tyler right here to my left, my right. I don't know. Depends on what
I don't know where I am.
Yeah, somewhere over there. How are you today?
Pretty good. Yeah,
Nice.
pretty good. I would
Addison,
say.
You know him. You love him. How are you?
Doing well. I'm so freaking excited for football. Like I can taste it. It's almost here. We're like almost halfway through August, and I'm ready.
Today's episode is brought to you by DynastyLeagueFootball.com. It is a great time to go ahead and get that subscription. It includes 4 for 4 if you buy the bundle, and BetSperts and Matthew Berry's Fantasy Life, all that good stuff. So make sure that you do that. Also, this YouTube channel, like I said, Addison's producing great content all the time. Make sure that you are subscribed, hit that notification bell, leave some comments. That always helps for sure. And so, make sure you hit the like button. I'm sure Henry will be here to tell us that very soon. If you have watched the show before, then you know that we are going to answer your questions. If you have not, make sure to pay attention as we ask some questions. So, Tyler, what's an example of a good question that somebody might ask?
What's better, waffles or pancakes?
There we go. That's a good question. Addison, what do you think?
French toast.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Waffles.
Addison, I heard the people have started to like Robert Tonyan. But wait, I corrected them. I threw you under the bus on Twitter. Did you see that?
I did. I saw that you were mentioning me over there.
Yes, I've actually thrown you under the bus a couple of times on Twitter.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's okay. The people should know that I actually do like Addison.
Addison can handle it.
I'm nicer to Addison than the co-hosts on my own show. We did a redraft mock yesterday, and I was kind of on the brutal side, but that's okay. I'm in a better mood today.
Another thing that we want to add here today is, there's been ideas tossed around. People have mentioned maybe adding some segments into what we do here at Ask DLF. So, hey, we want you, since this is a crowdsourced show, always has been, if you have an idea, pretend you're an ESPN producer, give us an idea for something that you would like for us to talk about. If you have a segment, if we like it, then we'll do it. It can be anything. It can be something on Dynasty Fantasy Football. It could be something on, breakfast items, as Tyler mentioned there from the top. But also, as always, if you have trade questions or any kind of moves that you're looking to make, training camp news that you'd like us to comment on, go ahead and add those into the live chat right there. Best place is YouTube, just like Kid Coop did here at 5:40, our earliest one today. Happy Taco Tuesday, gents. 2 questions for you today, one short and one long. Short one first. 12-team Superflex startup. He's got Kyler, Watson, Trey Lance, Kenny Pickett, Davis Mills. Should he trade Kyler for a 23 first, 24 first, Matt Ryan, Davis Price, and Freiermuth? Very strong at wideout, but weak at running back and tight end. Tyler, why don't you chime in here first?
That's not enough. It's not enough. I mean, it's not. Yeah, I don't like it. It's nowhere near enough. I mean, Kyler's worth at least 23 first, right? So this is well short. So yeah, no.
Addison, you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Yeah, I agree. This is not enough. I understand if you feel like you're pretty strong at quarterback and whatnot, and maybe one of these guys you feel like could be a little bit more expendable to help you out at a weaker position in your starting lineup. But this is not the direction that I'm wanting to go with this one for sure.
You don't actually need to get rid of players that you think are going to be on the bench. Like, that's not really something that you need to do right now. And I would save this ammunition for during the season if you need to. And who knows, you may be able to trade someone else for a better deal. And it's just, I agree with you guys. Not near enough. So,
I realized why it was 1,000 degrees in here. I forgot to turn my air conditioning on.
Kid Coop following back up here. 10-team Superflex auction with friends who have never played Dynasty. Ready to take advantage. Productive struggle year 1. I got Lance, Lawrence, Watson, Pickett, Ritter, and Zach Wilson at quarterback. So it seems like people in this draft ignored quarterback, maybe. He's got Kyle Pitts, McBride, Brevin at tight end. Here we go. This is a long question. Buckle in. Lamb, Waddle, Elijah Moore, London Burks. These are all of his wide receivers. He has good players.
All right,
Let's move on. Most people don't understand how good my team is yet, and we're laughing at me during the draft. Do I just sit and wait and try to make good trades once they see value? Sadly, most aren't looking to trade with me because they don't know who 75% of my players are. What should I do this season to turn this productive struggle into the ultimate dynasty? What kind of advice do we have here for Kid Coop?
Well, just I don't know.
Let's look back here.
Like, you have a good team. It's fine. Keep your players. I don't know what advice really you're looking for.
Addison?
I mean, I could advise going a little bit stronger into the productive struggle as well. Sell Antonio Gibson. He's your RB1, but sell him. If you get good value,
I mean, Antonio Gibson.
Maybe if people don't know who Kenneth Walker is, then you might not get good value. But I like all the running backs that you have, and then just basically stockpile as many 2023 firsts as you can, because if this is an auction league and friends have never played Dynasty before, I mean, maybe you think just because it's a friends league, you don't want to like totally crap on them and like take advantage of everybody making bad
Why
moves
not?
and being stupid. I don't know if you just feel bad about
Let's
it.
never
These are all
stop.
your friends
I
and
don't.
stuff like that.
I don't know anything about that.
But it's another way that they would learn to not do that in the future. So like if you could do like tear down moves, right? So for example, you have CD Lamb. Well, what if you're able to trade CD Lamb? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out. DJ Moore and a 23 first, like tear down moves like that, and just stockpile 2023 firsts, and then use those firsts to draft a bunch of running backs. And because I'm looking at your team, and your team honestly is probably good enough that you're not going to be the 101. Like your team is actually really, really good. This is probably a playoff team in a 10-team super flex. And so you're not going to get, Bijan or any other really good, like top 3 running back. But if you stockpile first, you have a better opportunity to be able to do that and then build your team out for the future by being able to draft those rookie running backs.
I think that's really good advice. I hope you have better luck than I did, Kid Coop. I remember trying to force my friends into Dynasty before they had any idea what it was. And it did not go well for me. And I ended up finding strangers on the internet to do it with instead. So maybe that path works out better for you than it did for me. But in the meantime,
I'm so happy you found strangers on the internet to do it with, Cal. I'm really happy for you. That's what you just said. The people all heard it. But let's move on to the next one.
That is exactly. I'm on this stream because I found strangers on the internet to play Dynasty Fantasy Football with. So yes, maybe. And look, and I guess maybe in that sense it did work out well. But I just think this league, for now, if they're sharp and they're going to catch on, then great. But you're asking them to pay attention to football maybe more than they want to, and in that case, maybe a redraft league might be better for you. I hate to say that as somebody that's DLF here, but like I forced it too much with my group of friends. Don't do that, Kid Coop. Otherwise, yeah, keep taking advantage of what you can. I would imagine they're not going to value first, so I like Addison's
trade Gibson for a first. In no other league would that be possible, but in this league it might.
Maybe it would be.
Sean, would you trade Allen for Chase and Brady? So I'm assuming this is Josh Allen.
Chase. Yeah, Josh Allen.
12-team Superflex contender.
No, but I get why you would think about it. But I'll say no.
If Brady was like any other quarterback with longevity greater than 4 months, I might consider it, because at least you have the value piece in Jamar Chase to hold you down, But man, it's Josh Allen.
I'll keep Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Josh Allen is pretty close to irreplaceable in this. And honestly, like I don't know, like I don't like to overreact to things in training camp for sure, but like all these injuries on the offensive line for Tampa Bay don't make me feel great about their offensive weapons right now.
It might be a rough year. If Godwin takes a little time to get back, I mean, Mike Evans already has an hamstring injury.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it might be a rough year for the Bucs.
I mean, it's Tom Brady, so I guess you don't want to bet against him. But
rough year means it's probably going to be like 10-6, and they're like the 5 seed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Behind the Saints.
Yeah.
Jesse, hey guys, hope you're doing well. Looking forward to another great show. Great to see you,
thanks,
Jesse.
Jesse.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Order 66, 12-team, 2 tight end premium, Superflex, start 10, Kyle Pitts and David Bell, or Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne.
It's a good trade. That kind of premium, I'll take Kyle Pitts and David Bell. Close, though.
Yeah, I think that's the answer. In a 2 tight end premium?
Yeah.
Man, these are some hard-hitting questions to start.
I know.
2 tight end premium, like Kyle Pitts, there's a chance Kyle Pitts gets red zone work, and he just is the first pick next year.
Wouldn't that be nice?
In a 2 tight end premium, he probably already is the first pick.
Yeah, he might be. I like it. Take the Kyle Pitts side. I do love Lawrence, but
so do I.
Are you worried at all about Travis Etienne with the James Robinson news, Addison?
No, I was never an ETN is going to be a 300 touch guy with like 220 carries. Like I was basically anticipating that he was going to be a DeAndre Swift kind of role, which if you look at DeAndre Swift's rushing usage, he gives up a lot of that to Jamal Williams. Alvin Kamara did that with Mark Ingram. That was kind of the role that I'm kind of hoping and projecting for ETN, where he makes his fantasy points much more through the air than on the ground. So I'm not really all that worried about Robinson.
But Tyler, then he has to be kind of like elite level efficiency. Like, I mean, Alvin Kamara was like, have we ever seen that kind of efficiency that during his run? I mean,
it's the same silly argument that people on Twitter are like, well, James Robinson being healthy will not affect Travis Etienne's role. They're wrong. They're wrong because running back opportunity is mostly given. It's mostly given, not earned. Saw that with Cam Akers, right? Cam Akers was ineffective. Totally ineffective. Terrible. They gave him the carries anyway. And what mattered? It's just that the coach wanted to give him the carries. The difference between running back and wide receiver, people just don't get it. They don't get it. They'll never get it. And I don't understand what it's going to take to drill this into people's thick skulls. But the difference is that the running back pool is finite. It's finite. There's not it works differently. There is 100%, and it's split between 2, maybe 3 players intentionally in a given game. Usually it's really 2. Some teams it's 3. So if you take from one person, it's one person's carries are coming from another. Very few teams play 2 halfback personnel. Very few. Almost never. So it carries and receptions from one running back are coming from another one, or playing time at the very least is coming from another one. So if James Robinson is there and taking more carries, it's coming from somebody. In this case, Travis Etienne. Whereas at wide receiver doesn't work that way. Since putting one wide receiver on the field doesn't take another one off the field, the pie doesn't work that way. Targets are earned by the player as they play during their playing time. So it just doesn't quite work the same way. But yes, anyone who's saying that James Robinson is irrelevant for Travis Etienne is just wrong. It's just wrong. It doesn't matter if he's ineffective. If they're giving him carries, it's going to make a difference. So people should reconsider, is what I would say. This is my opinion.
You're going to reconsider, Addison?
No, I mean, I was baking in that James Robinson was going to be back for a majority of the season.
Well, then there's nothing to change.
I didn't really change anything with ETN. That's kind of my point, was that if ETN gets 150 carries, and 70 receptions, he's going to be a back end RB1. Like that's just like
then there's nothing to
statistical
change.
fact.
The only thing is that Travis Etienne had a decent number of carries in college. No, I mean,
he was a
wasn't-
workhorse in college. That's why
Right,
he
so-
has the upside to be, a 300 touch guy. I'm just not projecting him to be that, and he doesn't need to be that to still be really, really good for fantasy, a la Alvin Kamara, DeAndre Swift, Austin Eckler. I'm not saying he's going to be those guys. I'm not saying he's going to be a top 5 guy, but if he gets that kind of usage and role in the Jaguars offense, that's more than enough to pay off on him being a top 15, top 12, RB11, RB12 type of running back.
Sure.
And you're going to be
his
happy
ceiling is probably RB7 or 8 instead of 3.
if he doesn't get the rush.
If he doesn't get the
majority of
goal line
rushing.
carries, the goal line carries are the problem. He doesn't get those. That is
Sure.
a problem.
Then he relies a little bit more on his talent, which I do think he's talented.
I
Like,
do
kinda
agree
like
with
how
you that
DeAndre
he's
Swift
talented, but
did.
if he doesn't get the goal line carries, then he doesn't get the goal line carries. Goal line carries are almost completely given.
Right.
They're not earned. So
If I'm gonna trade Josh Allen, like that last trade is not the one I want
this
to
is
do.
better.
This one
This
might
is a
be.
lot better. Yeah.
Josh
This
Allen,
one I would do.
Trey Lance, DJ Moore, and a 23 first. I'll
I'd
take
trade
that.
Josh Allen for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. Shout out on the name as well.
Yep.
56, so.
Cameron Ward Truther. Judy or Chris Olave?
I have them back to back with Judy ahead.
Yep. I'll take Judy as well.
Yeah, I'll take Judy. Trey Lance or Trevor Lawrence?
Lance.
It's funny. I have them back to back with Lawrence ahead, actually.
Man, we were so confidently taking Trevor Lawrence ahead of him last year. And it's amazing how Lance didn't play hardly. And he jumped Trevor
But we
Lawrence.
know the game. It's better to not play at all than to get injured or play
suck.
injured or suck.
Is that a mistake here though?
I think it will look like a mistake, yes.
Lance's rushing is going to minimize a lot of his mistakes.
I'm not sure how good Trey Lance really is. I never
He has
was.
the upside and the ceiling, but yeah, he does have a very low floor.
How
It's
much
just-
better
I-
do you
the-
think?
For fantasy, the rushing is going to mitigate a lot of that.
Outside
Mhm.
of the draft capital, is Trey Lance really, given what we know at this point, how confident are you that Trey Lance is that much better than Jalen Hurts? Given what we know now.
No, I think Jalen Hurts is better.
Me too.
So then not confident is what you're saying, because I don't think Jalen Hurts is very good.
But he's
I do
a
think he's
top-
good.
Yeah, how good is he for fantasy though? That's kind
That's
of the
not
point.
but that's not the same question. That's not the same question.
I
You
think
can
they have
be
the same answer. Yeah.
No, well, they don't. I mean, if Jameis Winston's 2019 was great for fantasy, and it led to him being out of a job.
But, I mean, I'm talking about in Jalen Hurts' case. I think people look at completion percentage and passing yards as the
Well, let me
end-all,
make it-
be-all
let me
for
make it very
quarterback
simple.
evaluation and third down percentage.
I'll make it
and-
very simple. No, that's too complicated. Very simple. You're going to have an NFL game tomorrow. You get to pick any quarterback you like. The game is tomorrow. Where would he fall in terms of the quarterbacks on that list? Not
He
fantasy.
should be high.
Where would he be? 15, 20?
No, higher.
Wait, are we talking
Oh,
Hurts
that's-
or Lance?
Hurts.
Okay.
He should be
For me, it's around 20. So not high.
he'd be in the back teens.
Around 20 for me. So not very high. Honestly.
His
just
team,
don't-
his offense last year was 8 in third down conversion and 3 or 4 in red zone conversion touchdowns. That is a good quarterback.
Is
Stop
not
looking
a
at
good
Deep passes.
Look,
That's not.
could he produce? Could he improve? Yes. Has he been was he a great passer in college? Not consistently.
He was a great
is he-
quarterback last year.
I don't know about that.
His team converted on third downs and scored touchdowns in the red zone. What else do you want out of a quarterback?
Throw the ball well. Which
Why?
he did not do.
Isn't the point to stay on the field and score points?
Well, he didn't throw. I mean, he didn't throw the ball well. So when he can do that,
Okay, but if his team's staying on the field and scoring points, he is a good quarterback.
sure. I mean,
don't lose
Jared
sight of
Goff
what
on the
it
Rams.
means
Jared
and
Goff
why
on the
it's important to
Rams.
be-
Jared Goff on the
quarterback.
Rams was great. He was so great, right? He was so great. The team was constantly, the offense was moving. Everything was going well. But was it Jared Goff?
That is
not. You
not
can't just
close.
No, it
to an
is. It's
apples
very
to
it's very
apples.
similar.
No, not close.
You can't
Jared
just
Goff
give
and Jalen Hurts.
No, see
nothing
that's the
alike.
thing. No, he wasn't very good. He wasn't very good. He was okay.
He was good.
He was not. He was okay.
Yeah,
now,
he was good.
if you want to say he was okay, he was not good. So it's a big lie. If you want to say he was okay,
Based on what,
and now
though?
could
That's
in
my
year two.
point.
Now, no, the narrative, the correct narrative is he was okay in year 2. He was okay.
I love
and
Addison's
could progress as a passer moving forward. And if he progresses as a passer to complement his skills that he has as a rusher and shows a little bit more of what he was able to do that final year at Oklahoma in college, then he would be he has a ceiling to be a solid franchise quarterback moving forward. Could be, but he has not done that. He was not a good passer last year, period. He looked terrible at times. He looked lost as a passer at times, often looked lost, didn't know where he was going, did not know how to run a regular NFL passing offense. He did not show that he was capable of that. So let's see if he does it. Let's see with AJ Brown. I think with AJ Brown, he has a good opportunity to move up from like 20 to 10 to 15. I mean, if he plays well with his rushing skills and passing, potential passing potential, then maybe he can do it, but it's potential. He still has to do it. He hasn't done it. He was not good. So let's see if he's good next year. That's what we're gonna see.
I reversed it. 4th and 3rd down percentage and 8th and red zone percentage.
But I don't care. I don't care about 3rd down percentage, red zone percentage. I want to hear about everything.
NFL teams do.
Every down count. I don't care about the splits.
About
the splits are stupid. Every down counts. I want to hear about what you're doing in total. And in total, he wasn't very good. We don't
points.
Analyzing splits. It doesn't help us. We
Those
need to look at everything. And in totality, he just wasn't that good as a passer. He needs to improve. If he throws 16 touchdowns and 9 interceptions and completes 61% of his passes again, that's not going to cut it. He needs to do better than that. He needs to do better.
His team scores
that
points,
won't cut it.
Stays on the field.
Sure, but
He's
that
good.
won't cut it unless, his rushing is as good or better than it was last year. And they phased him out a little bit. They started having running backs rush more at the end.
Addison.
I'm just having so much fun. What if Jalen Hurts was throwing to like a 31-year-old, like 50-50 ball that can't really separate wide receiver?
Julio Jones? 2021 Julio Jones? That's
like like a Des Bryant or
Des Bryant. No, I mean AJ Brown, look, if he can't do it with AJ Brown, he can't do it. Like if he can't do better this year with AJ Brown, he's not going to do better.
That's the litmus test.
Right. I mean, he better do better. I mean, AJ Brown is elite. If you can't make AJ Brown good, you're the problem. I mean, I think that you saw when Marcus Mariota was playing in 2019 in AJ Brown's rookie year, AJ Brown was not usable, terrible, was totally unusable. And then just Ryan Tannehill is nothing special, came in and suddenly AJ Brown was good. So we see what happens when you go from horrible to, so if he's that bad, then there's going to be a problem. But I don't think he's going to be that bad. I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle.
Cecil Fielder, legend.
Cecil Fielder, welcome back.
Appreciate you. 12-team Superflex, start 10 PPR. Burrow or Deshaun Watson, 23 first and a 24 second.
This is an impossible question to answer. Like, if Deshaun Watson is suspended for
I'm sticking with Burrow.
Next question. That's
Deshaun
actually what I'm
Watson.
going to say. Next question.
Addison.
I don't want to talk about. I don't want to do this question. Let's next question.
I want Watson. You can go on.
Let's talk about this when the final suspension comes down. Let's do the next question.
This is a real trade somebody has to consider right now, though. So,
Watson.
I mean, I answered it.
Cameron Ward-Truther, Godwin, or Deontay Johnson?
Deontay Johnson. Especially after the extension.
Man. Deontay.
Yeah. If I knew that Godwin was completely 100%, totally good, like going to be the old Godwin, it would probably be Godwin. But I don't know that. You never know. So for the risk, I'll take Deontay Johnson.
Eric always chiming in with good questions. If you wrote a letter to your 18-year-old self, what would it say? That's not that long ago for you guys.
It's really easy. It's really easy because my 18-year-old self was already starting to do this. It would only be 3 words. It would be buy more Bitcoin.
That's it right there.
I was already starting to do that as my 18-year-old self. So that's all I would need to know. This would be buy more Bitcoin. It'll trust me, you won't regret it.
My version of that would be like Apple stock.
Bitcoin was worth
Buy Amazon.
I wasn't alive. I wasn't alive back then. But Bitcoin was like $50 a Bitcoin.
Buy Netflix.
Discover
Sell
Bitcoin.
Blockbuster.
That's going to be mine.
Discover Bitcoin. Yeah. Okay. All right. This is a good question. I appreciate you, Eric.
It is. Boy, it would be a long letter, I think.
All I need to hear is buy more Bitcoin.
I think I'd just say like keep on going. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. So for it to be 8 years ago, just keep going.
You know what? Okay, you just sparked something in me. I'm going to say it. So.
Oh no.
Be kind to yourself. I think that is something more people need to understand and know. Like I think we are our own worst enemy too many times. And we can be very tough on ourselves when nobody knows that we screw up more than we do. And we can be very unforgiving of ourselves. So be kind. Be kind. Kid Coop also happy Taco Tuesday, gents. Wouldn't have gotten this stack team without all your advice this offseason. Glad we could help Kid Coop. And if you have a question like his, make sure that you use that live chat right now and toss it in there. We will discuss it. Antonio Gibson or Josh Jacobs?
Can I vomit instead?
Neither.
It's Antonio Gibson, but
it's Gibson.
Yeah.
Can it be like AJ Dillon instead?
Now, Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk. He talked about the marina. Let's remember, he talked about the marina, and then the marina happened. It was the marina where the Dolphins. He's convinced that the Raiders are going to trade Josh Jacobs despite their denials. So I don't know what to think, but I don't think it would change my answer.
All my Kenyon Drake 19th round best ball shares.
Zamir White, though. Then you can sell Zamir White for a first, and then you could be done with busted ACL Zamir White.
Where would Jacobs go that you would be all right with if you had him?
He's better than who they have.
I don't know if I want him in Philly, though. Like, that's like a mess.
No, there's nowhere that Jacobs could go that would be better than where he is now.
I think Atlanta. That's probably the only place.
Would that even be better? Atlanta's offense is so putrid. And he's splitting receiving work with Patterson. So Atlanta's offense is vomit level. It's even worse than vomit levels. It's grave level.
Could Houston be all right?
That's not better. How is that better? I feel like at Houston, I feel like there's at least the possibility that he gets 250 touches. I think Dameon Pierce is just as threatening as Zamir White. Kenyon Drake to me is nothing. Marlon Mack is more than Kenyon Drake. So and Houston is a worse offense. So how is that better? That's worse.
I don't know.
There's nowhere he can go. There's nowhere he can go that's better. So you don't want him to move.
What? Yeah, unless sorry, I'm not going to say it.
Well, no, unless someone gets hurt and then if someone gets hurt.
But I'm not going to say a name because then it's going to happen and people are going to get mad at me.
Yeah, well, they can get mad at you.
I was going to say if Jonathan Taylor got hurt and the Colts traded
Don't say that.
I wasn't going to say it, but then you said, you can say his name. So then I said his name.
You knew it.
We're going to clip that.
Yeah, we need to. Running backs don't get traded. Who would trade for a running back right now? There's just so many.
Kareem Hunt could actually be
who
traded.
Needs Kareem a running back and Jonathan Taylor gets hurt.
No, Kareem Hunt's not. Nobody's getting traded. No running backs. I don't know why anybody would trade for a running back.
The Eagles would.
It'd be a day.
They've done it before.
Are you reading really bad news into the fact that he was playing a lot?
Relatively.
Not any worse than it. See, I was already so down on him that I can't be any more down on him.
I just feel like Josh McDaniel continues to not care. Like he just will do whatever he wants. Like,
let me put it this way.
This isn't a good start for him.
I made the adjustment that Josh Jacobs is going to be a disaster this year a long time ago. So more disaster is just confirming what I already had. So I'm not double counting a disaster that's already happened. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Works for me.
It was shocking, though. It was very.
I agree
shocking.
with you. I agree
Yeah.
with you. It makes no sense at all. I totally agree. It is odd, and why some people, I can understand why they would think that they were showcasing him for a trade, because there really is no other reason to be playing a 3-year veteran running back in your starter, your clear starter in the Hall of Fame game. There's no other reason.
It feels weird to say showcase your starting running back. Like Jacobs hasn't been like a really solid running back for the past like 3
Yeah, I really.
years.
Right.
It makes no.
What if he got?
sense.
What if he got hurt? Then everything that you wanted was just down the
It
drain.
makes no sense at all.
The
That's
whole
why I'm
thing
a
was
little
so weird.
confused.
Yeah. Like I'm picturing like some random offensive coordinator watching and being like, "Oh, this Josh Jacobs
This
guy."
Josh Jacobs guy.
Yeah.
Who is the Urban Meyer? You know, that
Yeah.
probably would have been, if he was still in the league, it would have worked.
PJ, what's good, fellas? Cal's the best fantasy football analyst of all time. Of course.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Tyler, what's up?
we'll see about that.
Squirrel. Tyler's so mad at me today. I'm sorry, Tyler. I'm sorry.
not mad
sorry
at
I
you.
disagreed with you earlier. I'm sorry.
I'm not mad at you. You'll
I'll
know
try
if
to
I'm
agree
mad
more.
at you.
Squirrel, Calvin Ridley or Antonio Brown in PPR?
Oh, I'm gonna have to go with Calvin Ridley.
Ridley. One of these guys is going to play a snap again.
On my show yesterday, we discussed the possibility of Antonio Brown signing with the Cowboys.
Oh my God.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Oh my.
Wouldn't that be something? If
I heard
Jerry
today-
Jones.
Did you see? I'm assuming this is true. I didn't actually vet this, but apparently somebody asked Antonio Brown what his biggest regret in the NFL was. And he said, he was like, I don't regret, like, you know, the taking off the shirt thing in Tampa Bay, or, you know, the whole like helmet stuff with the Raiders or the Buffalo Bills thing. He said that his biggest regret would be not being able to watch himself live during a football game, because he said it must have been so immaculate to be able to watch him play football.
That sounds like how I feel about this show.
Do you guys remember
just-
Freddie Mitchell with the "I like to thank my hands"? Do you remember that? After he was, he had
Please
his-
don't let me turn into Antonio Brown.
We'll prevent you from going down that dark road.
I do have a little bit of crazy in me, as the people know.
PJ has a question for us. Thoughts on Isaiah Pacheco? Is the real deal or fake news? What do we think?
I mean, he's better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Hot take.
Yeah.
Can't be worse, honestly.
I really think that Pacheco is.
He's older than Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah, so that's weird. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a better receiver, and I think
Oh,
Rojo's
really?
a better runner.
Really? He's a better receiver. Well, he hasn't shown that in his time in the NFL. Why hasn't he?
I know, Tyler, I know, but like, I want to believe it in my heart
So-
that like Pacheco
so
is not a better.
As a rookie, he
receiver.
was so good. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was so good. 2.8 receptions and 22.8 receiving yards per game. And the Chiefs saw that. They saw his rookie year, and they thought that they were going to move him down to 1.9 receptions a game and 12.9 receiving yards per game. He had 23 targets in 10 games in 2021. So he was great. He's demonstrated receiving ability. I think that's very clear from those numbers that Clyde Edwards-Helaire has demonstrated no receiving ability in the NFL whatsoever. None in 2 years. He has been awful.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying.
Well,
Yeah.
the evidence shows that he's been bad. So how about something unknown over something bad? Do you want failure, or do you want something you don't know a lot about? I'd rather take a much lower price shot on something that I don't know has already failed.
I mean, I 100% agree with you. I would take Isaiah Pacheco at cost over Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
He's going
at cost.
undrafted right now.
I'm sure that's probably not the case anymore. The hype.
Well,
is
I
gone.
was in on him from the beginning. You know, I talked about him from the start
Mhm.
because we knew that there was a lot of failure there, and we don't want failure.
I think Derek Gore is the odd man out on this team.
Derek Gore is
Pacheco.
a journeyman. He sucks.
That's what I'm saying though. Like they're talking about like, oh, one of these running backs is going to get cut. Like Derek Gore isn't still on this team and is somehow going to be there come September. Like they're talking about the possibility that CEH, Rojo, or Pacheco, like one of those guys aren't on the team, as if Derek Gore is just chilling out there.
Yeah. I think that they all make the team.
I think they do too. I think Jarek does too. I also
Yeah, I
think
think all
Jarek
four.
McKinnon is a better receiving running back than Pacheco.
Jarek McKinnon is a excellent receiving running back.
But Tyler, if you could trade Pacheco for a 23-second, would you do that?
I would. I would.
There you go.
And I wouldn't look back.
There you go.
I think I heard somewhere, and it made a lot of sense to me. I think this is right. I think the Pacheco news is actually good news for Edwards-Helaire. There's a really good chance Pacheco doesn't even have a touch this year. Like, that's not out of the realm of possibilities.
I've seen the Darwin Thompson comps.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember the Darwin Thompson?
We've done this before. We do it every year. We find somebody with, and we
that's
we
why
get
I'm
so
not
excited
doing
about them, and they're nothing. This happens every year. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not doing that though.
Alex, in a rebuild, have Mariota in a 14 teams. We were like, sell now for anything, or hope he plays decent first couple of weeks and ups his value.
So Marcus Mariota doesn't know how to do that. He doesn't know how to play decent. He has a problem with that one. He doesn't know anything about that. I mean, in his final 2 years, we have a whopping glorious 21 games that he participated in, where he managed a putrid 177 passing yards per game over 21 games. This is the player that some people, I don't know who those people are. Their football analyzing credentials may need to be re-examined. That is the player that people thought should have more of an opportunity to play football, more starting reps. He threw 18 touchdowns in those 21 games. And 177 passing yards per game. That's the player that people wanted to see more of him. No, thank you. He doesn't know how to play decent. All he knows how to do is play badly. That's what he knows how to do. So I would sell now for anything before you see the horrific performance that he's going to put on the field with the Atlanta's disastrous and embarrassing roster that they've put together. So yeah, does that cover it?
Would you like to know the opening schedule for the Atlanta Falcons?
Oh, I would.
Of course.
They play at home against the Saints in week 1. So congratulations, Cal. You're 1-0.
That's not the worst.
Oh my gosh. He's going to get destroyed.
At the Rams. That one's not so good.
At Seattle.
Okay. At Seattle is not bad. Seattle is a terrible team.
Got to go cross country though.
Yeah. At home against the Browns.
The Browns defense is very good. At Tampa Bay, great.
At home against the Niners.
Not good.
Cincy.
Okay.
At home against the Panthers.
Okay.
And then at home.
Yeah, but Mariota's not going to make it that far.
The Chargers. That's week 9 or 10. That's the beginning of November. So that is the schedule that you're hoping Mariota plays decent against.
He's not going to play, but you don't have to worry about that. He's not going to play that schedule. I think that after the game against the Rams, Mariota is going to be taken out. And for week 3, it's going to be Ritter.
Ritter gets
See, I don't know. The way you said that actually made me think the opposite. It made me think that why would you throw Ritter out into that? Like, wait till that big stretch is done, and then maybe.
Why not, though?
It depends on where he is in his development, but nobody thinks he's way ahead of schedule.
I will say after the Chargers, you get the Panthers again on a short week. Then you have a 10-week break where you get the Bears, the Commanders, the Steelers, then the Saints again.
Yeah, that's probably what you're doing.
That seems, right around there in Thanksgiving. That seems like a Desmond.
I think you could toss him in against Carolina in week 8. It goes Carolina. The Chargers are, they're good offense.
I would want to put Mariota out there against the Chargers so that Joey Bosa doesn't rip my new rookie's head off.
That's fair, but
that would be what I would, or Derwin James, or
right.
All of those guys. So, I'm not waiting to see what Mariota puts on the field and hoping that his value goes up. It's going to be bad. I'm selling now.
I don't know what you're getting in even a 14-team league. It feels like maybe could you get a 23 second from a desperate team?
Second. I'd go for 24.
24. Okay,
that seems much more.
Just spam everybody in the league with that offer.
Just take what you can get.
Just offer everybody in your league a 2nd round pick.
Yes.
or put it if you have like a group chat or something like that. Just be like, any second, the first person to send me a second for Mariota, I'm auto accepting.
That might work.
PJ chimes back in. Could Brandon Ayuk be a league winner? Lots of hype on Ayuk.
Could he be usable? Yeah. Could he be a league winner? That probably requires an injury.
Or Trey Lance to really be good.
No, I don't think there's a I don't think that universe exists. I just given that he's a run quarterback who's going to run a lot. I don't think the universe exists unless Debo or Kittle are either injured or seriously not effective. So yeah, that requires probably an injury for him to be a league winner. Now, those are players who have been injured many times. So yes, but as the team is currently constructed, I think Brandon Ayuk's ceiling is like wide receiver 30.
I gotta go look. Somebody, man,
I feel bad for him. I actually think he's pretty good.
I'd love to give credit for this.
Stretches.
Yeah, second half of last year, he actually was better as a receiver than Debo Samuel.
Yeah, but then that was when
Debo was used as a receiver.
Well, that was part of it.
But, I mean, yes.
And he started to kick back up for the first time when Kittle missed those 3 games. That's when he got back in Kyle Shanahan's good graces out of necessity.
But he does seem to be genuinely in his good graces right now. Like
I agree with you, but they like
Shanahan
Debo
right
and
now
Kittle
are
more.
very, very good. Like I like what I'm hearing, and I'd much rather draft him where he is right now than Debo or Kittle where they're being taken.
I'd rather have Debo. I don't mind Ayuk.
At their current prices, I'd probably want. I guess I'd want Ayuk the most.
I just feel like there are other players around Ayuk that have more upside that I would label more as league winners than Ayuk. Not to say that I don't think Ayuk could be an every week kind of guy for you. I just don't think I would consider him a league winner because I do agree that his ceiling is kind of lower.
We've seen his upside.
I really do think that if there were an injury to either Kittle or Debo, Ayuk would immediately become a top 25 wide receiver.
Sure. But that's what I mean, though, is that it would need like an injury kind of thing to happen. Whereas, again, I see other wide receivers in Ayuk's price range that don't need an injury.
Sure, but you also have other receivers in his price range that no matter how many injuries there are, don't have, like, I guess, I mean, I'd rather have Darnell Mooney, but like Darnell Mooney has no upside. Darnell Mooney's upside last year was the best it was ever going to be. When there was, I mean, he's going to get more than 140 targets, probably not. Like,
if you're worried about targets from Lance, I mean, I feel like there's plenty of reason to be worried about it for Mooney.
Right,
as well.
But Darnell Mooney is not very good. He's good, but he's not very good. So it's kind of like Brandon Ayuk is a far superior player to Darnell Mooney.
It'd be like saying, could Chase Claypool be a league winner? He would need, in my opinion, injury to get to that point, like Ayuk. I think they're both.
But there are players like, like who I like. I mean, they're not players I dislike, but like Christian Kirk is not going to be a league winner. No, it doesn't matter how many injuries there are. Christian Kirk, best, I think, is like wide receiver 20, just because his talent won't let him do better. There's Brandon Ayuk. If things fell correctly, we saw what Brandon Ayuk could be at times. I mean, Brandon Ayuk could be a wide receiver 1 in the right scenario. He has the talent. Amon-Ra, same thing. For example, we know the ceiling's there. It's just, is the situation ever going to allow for that again?
This next one is kind of exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I'd much rather have Judy than Ayuk because Judy is that wide receiver in Ayuk's price range that doesn't need an injury to be.
Judy's younger than Ayuk. Both have had inconsistent production over 2 years. Both have first-round draft capital. Judy's in the better situation, and Judy was the better prospect. Yeah. So I think I have to go with Judy.
I would do Ayuk in a second for Judy, to be honest with you.
Really?
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
Well, I mean, I don't really want to
don't
give
think-
up 23 seconds, but
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, I do not have Ayuk and Judy close, is what I'm saying. I'm agreeing.
You might not need to go that high, but I would be willing to go that high.
But I do like Ayuk as a player, and he is pretty young. So if he shows out this year, he'll eventually talent rises.
Yeah. Okay. I think I prefer Ayuk.
No.
It's just hard to do that.
Cal, do you need to watch a certain YouTube video of mine?
We know Russell Wilson is good. We don't know anything about Trey Lance. And, I already mentioned the other reasons why I think Judy would be a better choice.
J-Ro, Godwin, and a 23 second for Dawson and a 23 first.
Yeah, so I just don't give up 23 first this way. So assuming this is super flex, I'll take the Dawson side. I'm just not going to do it. 23 first are too valuable. I'd rather have a 23 first over Godwin in a super flex 1-for-1.
A later 23 first or Godwin, I would rather have Godwin.
Risky. It's risky. If you could tell me it was going to be late for sure, but it's not a guarantee.
And then you'd want a second over.
I think
Dawson.
so. To give you an idea, let me
think
put a
Godwin.
number on it. I'll put a number on it. How many players in this class? I think that there will be, right now I have Godwin ranked in my Superflex ranks at 49 overall. I expect there to be 7 to 8 players as rookies next year ranked in the top 50.
If this is one QB, are you taking Godwin?
I think so, because then 3 quarterbacks at least go away. I expect to rank 3 quarterbacks at least from next year's class in the top. The top 50 is not a lot. I currently have in Superflex, I have 20 quarterbacks ranked in the top 50. So I would expect most first round rookie quarterbacks to come in there, for example. Like Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, I expect to come in the top 25. And then, others could easily be in that, 3rd, 4th round range. So yeah. And in a 1 QB, it's a little different.
Can I not pick just because I don't want to pick?
I think again, I think in a super flex it's pretty easy, and in a 1 QB it's.
I'll defer to Tyler on that
closer.
one, so I don't have to choose between my 2 Penn State fans.
Yeah.
Talent lead, 12 teams, Superflex, tight end premium, start 12. Brady, Evans, Lenny, Lance, 24 first, Penny, 4 Mahomes and Justin Jefferson. That's a big trade.
Mahomes.
Yeah. Yeah, Mahomes. I mean, Lance and a 24 first for Mahomes is probably a little light, but I'd rather Mahomes than I'd rather Jefferson over the rest of it. So, yeah, Mahomes.
Yep. And plus, everybody on the other side, everybody minus Lance, everybody on the other side is like 29 years old and above. So, Mahomes and Jefferson is just a combo that you can't replace.
Thoughts on Dobbins now that he's off the pup. So thoughts of him missing the first 6 weeks should be done now for sure.
Yes.
Also reports that the Ravens are wanting to run more again, and he's the only real running back they have healthy now.
Well, I think that people should be more excited for Dobbins than they were before.
Mm-hmm.
In a redraft, I moved him up. I think I had him at 23 or 24. I moved him up to 20. Which I think is a good ranking that I'm good with. I still have some issues. They're going to involve other backs no matter what. He doesn't get receiving work. And there's the Lamar vulture on the goal line. So there's all of that. But 20 is a good rank. I mean, I don't know if he's going to, this was a complicated surgery. I don't know if he's going to be 100%. But, if I'm projecting him to be 80, 90%, he's going to play week 1. There's no doubt. And as 80, 90% of himself, I'll rank him at 20 for a redraft. And then in Dynasty, I moved him up a bit as well. And I believe I gotta see what did I do. Yeah, so I'll have him at 16. He's not, he's 23, turns 24 in September, so he's not, or December, so he's not the youngest player in the league, but he's not old. So yeah, that's a fair ranking. But again, Still downgraded for the fact that this was a much more severe injury than was originally expected, and there was complication in the recovery. So he's not as high as he would have been otherwise.
He's basically the same age as Travis Etienne. So like,
yeah, a month apart.
Yeah.
And I have them back to back. I do. I have Travis Etienne one spot ahead in both redraft and dynasty, because I feel like Travis Etienne to me was the better prospect. Was drafted in the first round and has the receiving upside. And I'm more likely to trust the receiving upside over whatever you want to call the Dobbins upside, the rushing touchdown upside, I guess is what you're calling it.
The Nick Chubb upside.
Yeah, so I'll take the receiving upside then. The receiving upside over that. So I'm choosing between the two. But the difference is, and the reason why it's close is because we've seen Dobbins be good in the NFL, and we haven't seen Travis Etienne play in the NFL. So that's why it's closer than it would be otherwise, because their profiles say it's Etienne by a lot.
Dobbins or Nick Chubb?
In a what? Dynasty? I'm actually still going to go with Chubb. Yeah. I'm not confident that Dobbins is ever going to be an RB1. So I'll go with Chubb.
In today's video, actually, I recommended moving Chubb for a Dobbins plus deal.
Fine with that. If you can get plus, but I don't want the plus to be nothing.
Dobbins or Henry?
Henry. I'll go with Henry barely.
Never betting against Henry ever again until he gives
5 years older.
If you bet against Henry last year, I mean, it wasn't a bad bet.
It also wasn't a bad bet to buy in either. I mean, the dude was averaging like 25 points per game for half the year.
The wheels have to come off.
Okay, I got it. Dobbins or Barkley?
Barkley.
I have Barkley ahead.
Oh, wow. Tyler is now becoming the Barkley guy. I like it.
Let's go. You just keep feeding him questions that make him say Barkley.
I know he's like gradually getting more and more hyped.
Barkley has not really moved up my rankings though.
I'm gonna start doing that with Juju.
That'll be more difficult.
Juju or Wan'Dale Robinson.
I still think that my segment with Josh Larkey that I did the week that both of you were out, where I said that Juju should retire, I think is one of my best segments of all time.
Eric knows your opinion already. Tyler, just curious on me and Addison here. 12-team Superflex, CeeDee Lamb, and Isaiah Spiller. I almost said CJ Spiller. Gosh, that's a blast from the past. Bruh. Or Deontay Johnson and Kenneth Walker.
Not
you, Tyler.
Did I answer this already?
I don't remember answering.
He said he knows your opinion. He's already reading your mind.
Answering this though. What did I say? What did I say? Because I'm torn. To be honest, I'm torn.
Deontay and Kenneth Walker for me.
I think it's Deontay and Kenneth Walker for me as well. I think that's a fine tier down.
If I said it, maybe I think I said Lamb last time.
It's pretty close.
Lamb again.
Mm-hmm.
If Lamb
Isaiah Spiller is coming up my rankings. There's a lot of rankings changes, but I haven't ported them over. So if you're on the Patreon, you haven't seen them. Yeah, clearly I have no memory. So this is how you know I'm undecided, because I didn't even say the same thing.
I could see it in a league where you're consolidating, trying to tier up, maybe doing that.
Can you bring back the
Lamb side?
Original? Okay. Sure.
I'm good with either side, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you can see I didn't even give the same answer when asked the same question twice in the same day. So clearly I'm not having a strong opinion on this one.
Cortland Sutton apparently is going to the moon.
I'm for it.
He'll be back in time for week 1.
No.
I'm here for it.
Cortland Sutton
and Judy.
Cortland Sutton remains a hard sell for me. I mean, I just don't understand. Like the people, I've said it a million times. The people who like Cortland Sutton are just living in a slightly different world.
Cortland Sutton or Juju Smith-Schuster?
Cortland Sutton.
Okay. Baryonic, trade the 302 startup for a 23 first and a 24 first.
Okay, so the 302 startup is going to be like what? Jalen Waddle, Breece Hall, and a super flex. Would you give that up?
No.
I probably wouldn't either. So I'll say no.
Oh, gosh. Does this change if it's not a super flex?
Yes.
I think it might.
I think I'm going to want if it's not a super flex, then who I'm getting at the 302 isn't actually it's not as good
Right.
comparative wise. And I might take the picks. Because, like, yeah, it would be like Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill. And I would
Like,
just
if you
take the
literally
picks.
told me that, like, on the clock at 302, I can pick Waddle or Brees Hall, I'm not trading either one of them for 2 firsts. Or if it was like, yeah. No, I'm sticking with that.
Yeah,
I'm not
again,
editing.
I think in a 1 QB, I'd actually do this. But in a super flex, I actually wouldn't. It's weird. It's just the way it falls.
Well, because in Superflex, like 15 to 18 quarterbacks might be gone at this point.
Well, in 1 QB, I just feel like the top
Yeah.
tier of value, there's like a tier break around 15 or 16 overall, whereas in, that same tier break in Superflex is around 29.
What if the best quarterbacks available at this point is like Tua, Rodgers, Cousins?
No, but I'm not. The
Carr?
odds are that I'm not picking a quarterback at 302.
Right.
Unless Lawrence falls, which I've seen occasionally.
Or Lance.
Lance won't fall there.
That's what I'm saying. If.
That won't happen.
Yeah.
By
that point, I already
you're
have
looking at,
one,
like,
maybe 2. If I have.
Yeah. So my
if
answer to this.
Debo? If Debo's there, you'd rather Debo?
I don't have Debo ranked that high, so
yeah,
Debo wouldn't be my choice.
I'm looking at the guys underneath him though. Like this, I don't know. I'm looking at the ADP.
Yeah,
Unless somebody else falls. I mean, you're talking about Derrick Henry. This is in Superflex. Derrick Henry, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs.
Yeah,
Austin
in
Eckler,
1 QB, I think I
Brees
make the
Hall, I
move,
guess,
and
maybe?
in 1 QB, I think I make the move and take the picks.
No, this is Superflex.
Well, just because that Superflex ADP is what it is, doesn't mean I agree with it. I mean, it's who's there on my board versus that.
DK?
DK is who I have 26th overall, exactly 302. So if exactly the 25 players I have above are taken, I would stick with DK barely. But it is telling he's probably one of the last players, because after that, it's T. Higgins and then Deshaun Watson and Deebo Samuel, Matthew Stafford, Justin Fields, and I'm trading all of those for this. So it's actually funny. It's right on the line. DK is probably the last player.
I would take all of those guys over the. Maybe
I would not.
Those guys.
I would
a
not.
handful of those guys.
I don't want any of them. None of them for me.
If the right person's there, yes, then keep it. If not,
it's very close.
We have a super chat. Can one of you guys pull that up so I don't?
got it.
There we go.
There's no question.
Hey, it's Valverde. What's up, Valverde?
Do you and him like know each other?
I did the very first podcast I did is like almost 10 years ago, and it was with Mike Valverde.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that you guys like knew each other.
Oh yeah, he's.
I was not aware of that.
Absolutely, he's.
Oh, okay.
One of my favorite people in this.
I didn't know that. Yeah, no, somehow I wasn't aware, but that's cool.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Let's see. How worried are we about Matthew Stafford's elbow?
Okay. I've moved Matthew Stafford down my rankings, but it wasn't for the elbow. I moved him down already, but the elbow hasn't really changed my mind. I moved him down one spot in redraft. And then in Dynasty, I don't think I've moved him much.
I'm not worried yet. I'm
not really, is my answer. Not really.
We have a month until football to figure this out. Apparently, the Rams already knew about it as well. It's just more about maintenance and pain tolerance.
I think this is an issue he was already dealing with.
Right.
So I think he dealt with this
apparently
last
not
year.
A football injury. It's much more
very
baseball.
Bizarre.
So if he does need Tommy John, then I'm very concerned.
Oh yeah.
But if it's just maintenance and pain tolerance, then I'm not really worried about it.
Apparently, he had it last year for a lot of the year as well, and that's
what I was saying. He already had it.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
So, Eddie T, hey guys, happy Taco Tuesday. Do your quarterback rankings change if you're doing a startup where it is 6 points per TD versus 4 points per TD? Does anyone like Dak or Burrow move up closer to Lamar, etc.?
It's a good question. I'll answer this one. I'm going to start this one. This is a very, very good question. Too long for a live show. But It's a good question. More for an article. But the answer in short is if it's very close, maybe. Just looking at my rankings to try to find something that would change. I rank on 4-point. And then adjust for 6. I'm not seeing anything. Yeah, Kyler and Lamar are too far ahead of Burrow for me to make that change. And I'm just looking down my ranks. Now, there's a lot of ones where are very close that I have the passing quarterback ahead, so it wouldn't in any way. So yeah, not seeing anything off the top of. Oh, there is one. There's actually one specific player I rank on 4-point. If it were 6-point, he'd probably move down a few spots. But it's right at the bottom of my rank is actually Daniel Jones. Would move down a bit, but that's the only one where I'm seeing where the rankings would actually, my current rankings would actually change if you made it 6-point. Nothing else is close enough, or the close player is the passing one on top, so it wouldn't actually change.
Right.
That
I agree. I don't really take that into consideration. And the thing about those elite quarterbacks anyway, like if you're trying to find if it changes the elite quarterbacks, the reason why Kyler, Lamar, they're up there is because not only because of the rushing upside they bring, but they can also throw 30 plus touchdowns. You know? So it's like the difference is kind of mitigated if they're throwing 5 fewer touchdowns. You get 10 extra points. But when Lamar and Kyler are running for 400 yards more than Burrow, that's 30 points more for them anyway.
Yeah, like I just happen to have Matthew Stafford a hair ahead of Justin Fields. If it were the other way around, the rankings would probably change, but it's not.
Yeah, it doesn't really change.
It doesn't happen
for me.
The only thing is that Daniel Jones I have at 26, whereas if it were 6-point, Daniel Jones would probably be at 30. So he would move down a good bit. As in a 6-point, you can't really play him at all. And a 4-point, you actually were.
Would it change your rankings at all for like a point per first down league?
That's way too potentially. Yes. That question's complicated
because it's rushing, right? You're not getting points for passing first down,
right?
Depends on the league. There are some leagues where you do.
Well, then that would be. I've never played in such a league.
It's something. Yeah, it's not something.
On the ground is typically where I've seen it though. Yeah.
Yeah, Scott Fishbowl is rushing, receiving.
I have seen it.
But yeah, that I think would change more towards the runners as well.
I agree
because just
make sure you factor in your specific scoring format. Obviously, I can't rank for every format.
What are some tiers down for Kenneth Walker? What do you think you can get for Kenneth Walker in a 24 first?
I'll save you some time. Nobody's buying Kenneth Walker right now, so nobody wants him. He's undervalued. So I would just hang on to Kenneth Walker. I don't think you're going to get the deal that you want.
He does say 1 QB, and yeah, for basically the same reasons why you want to sell him, nobody's buying him right now.
Yep.
No.
Nobody.
Hang on and enjoy him.
You think you could flip Walker for like AJ Dillon and something?
And what?
Like if you did like for this example, I'm not going to use the first. If you did like Walker in a third for Dillon in a second, you think that's?
I'm not sure. I wouldn't do that though. I'd rather have Walker.
Dillon and what?
Dillon in a second.
Yeah, but see, I wouldn't do that.
What if it was just Dillon in a second? Or
Still
the
wouldn't
third?
do that.
Okay, the third doesn't matter.
No, I wouldn't do that. So what I'm saying is that, and you're not going to get more. So just save yourself some time and
what if it was
hang on
Mitchell
to
in a second?
Still no.
Oh yeah, give me that. I'll take that.
I'll pass on that one.
I'll take that.
I feel like I'd do both those moves.
But clearly this is why I don't want to sell Kenneth Walker then, because I'm not happy with these deals.
I do like Kenneth Walker. I don't think you necessarily need to trade and move him down.
I don't know why you want to trade him away.
Don't do the second one for sure. Don't trade away a first right now.
Yeah.
Wait on that. But hang on to Kenneth Walker. Let's see. 1 QB. Would you trade a 24 first for AJ Dillon? Straight up.
No,
not right
Too
now.
risky.
No.
That might be a move that you could be able to do still next year.
Yeah,
if
still
if
not.
Dylan's situation even opens up. Like if Aaron Jones gets cut, I feel like some people would see that as an opportunity to sell on Dylan, and you'd be able to get Dylan for a 24 first. To some people, that might seem like it's a worthy enough of a sellout. You can wait a year to see how his situation and how his production pans out and still make this move.
I don't know. I feel like people are too optimistic on AJ Dillon right now. I don't know. I feel like he's somebody I want to sell. If I could get a 24 first for him, oh my gosh, I'd be so happy.
Maybe. I think you can get a 23 first in some leagues.
Man.
What?
One QB?
Any first for Dylan. Dylan's gone.
So then put him on the block.
I don't have Dylan.
I think I have him in one place.
People like AJ
Maybe
Dillon.
two. Let's see. Squirrel wants to know why Daniel Jones will be the top ranked fantasy QB this year.
Because we live in opposite world.
I feel like, do you know Squirrel?
I do.
Okay. I thought I remembered that.
I think it's going to be because he's going to have like a lot of 75-yard screen pass touchdowns to Saquon Barkley.
That seems unlikely.
So Kadarius Toney.
Wan'Dale Robinson, though.
Wan'Dale.
Tyler, are you still out on Barkley? I think
only
if you're
one
paying
on this
attention,
show.
He's in. He's all
I'm
in.
not the only one on this show. Cut me a break.
He picks Saquon Barkley.
I'm still pretty out on. Yes, I'm still pretty out on Saquon Barkley.
I don't know. To me, like all the reports kind of sound desperate, don't they? It's like, oh, he's back. I just feel like there's too much. It just feels like I don't know.
Let's see what happens on the field. How about that?
Yeah.
Why don't we let the field decide?
It feels like too much. Taylor May, would you trade Cam Akers for Breece Hall?
Yes.
All right. What would you add to the Akers side? If I said a second to Akers,
yes,
would you that?
Absolutely.
I was thinking if I need Akers in a first.
Well, if I had Hall, I would need Akers in a first. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But I'm wondering if I would trade Hall for that.
Wouldn't pay it. No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pay it for Hall, but I'm not sure if I had Hall, if I would make that deal or not. I think I would.
Mm-hmm.
I would.
I would. Never mind. I lied. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you could you not get a 23 first for Akers straight up at least, and then you would be getting 2 first for Hall.
I would. Yeah. I'm fine with that deal. I like Hall a lot more than Akers.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. Fumble Monkey evening. Yeah, which by the way, like, don't worry about the depth chart. There was so much talk about that. Don't worry about that.
Tyler Algier was listed as the 8th string running back, and Kyler Murray was listed as the 4th string quarterback on the Cardinals one. I mean, just don't ignore those depth charts.
Someone like Robert Saleh is rookie. Like he's gonna push his rookies down. Like he comes across as that kind of guy to me.
I'm trying to think if there were any useful. Okay, there is one thing though. There is one thing that is helpful. If a rookie is ever listed as a starter on the depth chart, now that's something you should take notice of. George Pickens is the one we're talking about. George Pickens. That's
you
should
the
take
next
notice.
Randy Moss.
Let's not get carried away.
Today.
But if a rookie is ever listed as the starter, pay attention to that because that is not normal, and that is a very, very good sign.
That's true.
So, and there have been a few that have been listed that way in the past. But just make sure you pay attention to that because that, again, I think he was the only one who was listed as a starter. Like, I think Garrett Wilson was listed. Or no, he wasn't even listed as a starter, but Drake London was. But
I mean,
where was
can you imagine if Drake London was not listed as a starter though? The first wide receiver drafted and is not listed as a starter over.
Oh, Wan'Dale Robinson was listed as a starter, but I don't know how much of a choice the
go.
Giants had.
Yeah,
But again, it's good that he was actually listed there. Alec Pierce was listed as, a starting wide receiver. So you just notice those things. But, someone being listed badly is not necessarily a detriment. I think it is not much of a choice, but Jalen Tolbert, I think, was listed as a starter as well.
Was David Bell listed as a starter?
I do not think so.
He was activated off the pup, so I wasn't sure.
No, I don't think so. I think they listed 12 personnel as their base. with Njoku and Bryant as starters, and then Amari and DPJ as their starting wide receivers.
Makes sense.
I was listening to an interview of somebody who had coached on a coaching staff at the NFL level, and they said that very often those jobs are just given to an intern. Like, go put the depth chart together. Like, it's not like it's the head coach that is putting these things together and like a ranking of who in his mind should have more playing time. Like,
I hear you, but
it's not that.
I hear you, but there are certain things like George Pickens being listed as a starter, or last year there was something that, or was it last year or was it 2 years ago? It was at some point there was, I think it was last year. It was Blake Jarwin was the starter, and then the next week suddenly Dalton Schultz was the starter. That, and I warned people, hey, that means Dalton Schultz is the starter. They didn't listen, but I warned people. It's like, why would it have changed in a week? What
somebody
it meant
corrected
is,
him.
Yeah,
somebody said, "Hey, go change that." Yeah,
go change it,
intern,
because Schultz is really the starter.
Fumble Monkey, which is a great name, love it. Evening 14 team PPR 1 QB, give Javonte and a 23 second, get AJ Dillon and a mid 23 first. I'm a contender.
Give
me
Javonte.
Yeah.
All over Akers, PJ.
Absolutely.
Kyle, Etienne, and Jefferson, or Brees Hall, Hollywood Brown, Chris Olave, 23 first, 23 second. Let's break this down.
Interesting.
Holy moly.
I'm gonna take the package side of Hall, Brown, Olave, and the picks there. Hall in a first is enough for Jefferson for me, and then I'd rather have Hollywood, Olave in a second over Etienne, so I'll take the Hall side.
Hall in the first for Jefferson? Is that what you said?
That's enough. Yeah, that's enough for me.
I think so. Not for me.
I think so.
Addison, you're in so much pain today.
It doesn't matter.
These trades are so hard.
This one wasn't very hard. This one was pretty easy.
I think I do end up on the package side. I think I got there. I have different work than Tyler, but I think I reached the same conclusion.
Also, if I'm close, I'm always going to take the one with the 23 first. Always, pretty much.
Matt Graham, 10-team Superflex, start 10, wide receiver core, Chase, Jefferson.
Okay.
It's pretty good. London, Bateman, Lance, Watson, Prescott at QB, running back to Etienne and Akers. Is it worth moving by 323 first to contend now or be patient?
No.
I would still be a little bit patient, but we're starting to get to the point where I don't mind it.
You're contending now.
Yeah, but it's August 9th. You don't start a lineup until September 8th. So
no, I mean, like, you don't need to make a move to contend. Like, you're already a contender.
I agree. Yeah, but you can be patient to see what if there are injuries. What if you have holes you need to fill? You don't know what's going to happen.
No, I'm not saying trade the first. I'm just saying, like, you don't need to trade those first to become a contender.
No, you don't need to trade
you're
them.
already there.
But I would just say I'm not looking to move the first just yet. Ask me in a couple weeks.
Imagine if you were like, if you won the league this year and then still had 323 first.
Wouldn't that be great?
Crap. Just grab a bunch of backup running backs, dude. You don't need to pay 23 first to be more of a contender. Just grab a bunch of backup running backs and you're good to go, because your wide receiver, you are never not starting Chase and Jefferson, and your quarterbacks are fine. And you're starting Etienne and Akers probably every single week that they're healthy. But, you know, if you pick up, you know, a couple backup running backs and give yourself good odds on hitting on a guy who gains value and gains a starter on a week because of injuries, you know, that helps you buy a win throughout the year. And then every win that you can buy to give you a first round bye in the playoffs, that helps you improve your championship odds. You don't need to spend your 23 firsts to be a contender with this roster. There are little things that you can do with the back end with your depth to help solidify that. Yeah.
10-team Superflex, Kadarius Toney, Alexander Madison, and a 23 second for a 24 first, and Sutton.
Oh, a 24 first. Sutton, easily.
Yep.
12-team Superflex, Ken Walker or Dobbins, and a 23 second, most likely late.
Here's how to trade Kenneth Walker.
Dobbins side.
Yeah. Exactly. Jur, would you trade Elijah Moore and Dawson Knox for Mark Andrews?
Yes.
Yeah.
If it's not premium, no. I'm probably
Dawson
not.
Knox not worth anything. So to
Yeah,
me, really,
Knox is nothing.
So yes,
I like
no
Elijah
matter what.
Moore. Really truth or Yo Jens in general, who would you want, Bateman or London in Dynasty?
London.
I'll take London.
Me too. Boy, him having a good camp is, I mean, I'm pretty excited about that.
It is really exciting.
He looks dominant. God, he looks so dominant. Every time I see a clip about him, I'm trying not to freak out, but he looks
Wow,
awesome.
the clear-cut rookie wide receiver one in this class is being dominant. How weird is that?
Yeah. Trevon Bulger, what would you pay for Aaron Jones if you're a win now team? Nothing.
Don't.
A
don't
second.
Don't. Just buy someone
yeah,
else.
There you go.
Buy someone you
agree
can
with that.
trust.
This
Okay.
is the same thing. Like if you have a 23 first and you're saying I'm a contender and I want to move that 23 first for Aaron Jones, stop it. Don't do that. There are other ways to win
Yeah.
than
Don't buy Aaron
selling
Jones.
your future for an Aaron Jones or Ezekiel Elliott with the first.
Yep.
It's a valuable. This is from a long time ago. We gotta go. We gotta go. 12 teams Superflex PPR tight end premium traded Derrick Henry, Hunter Henry, 23 second for Tony Pollard, 23 first, 23 third. How did I do?
It's okay. It's that or nothing. I'd rather have that.
I like it. You got
If
rid of
it's
Hunter
that or
Henry.
nothing. If it's that or nothing, I'd rather have that.
I'll take the Hunter Henry side. No, I'm kidding. I want the first. Rob Z, Chipotle or Moe's?
Taco Bell.
Who cares?
Oh gosh.
Chipotle's trash.
They're both trash.
Taco Bell.
I like Moe's. I'll take Moe's. In honor of Hard Knocks finally getting kicked off tonight, who do you think will be the perennial Hard Knock? Who get the perennial Hard Knocks bump? I'm going Chark.
Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams. That man is like perfect.
That man is camera
for the
gold.
spotlight.
J
He's
Swag
so
Daddy
amazing.
is camera gold.
I love him so much.
He's
Same.
so great.
I'm gonna say Amonra because I think Amonra is like fascinating and people are gonna fall in love with him. He really is a brilliant dude, speaks 3 languages, like fascinating pass. Like I think he could get that kind of bump.
I really do think it's Jamal Williams.
It's Jamal.
12 team Superflex PPR, tight end premium, Isaiah Spiller, Wandale Robinson, or a 23 second and Rashad White.
Oh,
I'll take Spiller and Wandale.
I'll take the second and White.
I'll take. I mean, I'm fine with either one of these sides.
Yeah, I'll take
I
the
think
second
I would.
and White.
I think I would just be like, you know what? I'm going in on Wandale, and we're here.
I'd rather have White over any the other players.
I'll take White as well.
White has the most upside by far.
I'm fine with that too. That's probably the smart answer.
Rick's 12 team Superflex, tight end premium, 1 PPR, 23 first, mid, which we don't know that yet, is worth what range in a startup draft? In a startup draft, how do you know where the pick's going to be?
If you sign up for my Patreon, it's on there.
Yeah, tell us.
I literally put it in for you. Literally,
well, I'm saying,
to the
how
rankings.
do you know the pick you're trading for is going to be a mid 23 first?
Oh, that I don't know how you know, but on the startup, it's on my Patreon. It's literally right there. So yeah, it's somewhere in the 4th round,
I was gonna say, yeah, it's probably about.
which is
You're-
unusual. Usually,
We're
it's in
gonna
the
get
5th or the
about
6th.
if it actually is a mid pick, probably about half to 2/3 of the first round of rookies next year are going to be top 50 assets. So
I said that.
that was
Use my idea as a springboard.
There you go. It was easy. Dwayne Wade and LeBron right there.
Yeah.
Elijah Mitchell or Antonio Gibson, rest of career.
I have them back to back.
Rest
with
of
Gibson
career.
higher.
Rest of their career, their whole life.
Gibson
Gibson has
with
more
very
marketable
resistant
usage.
regret. I have Gibson. I have them back to back in both Dynasty and Redraft, with Gibson higher. So Gibson, but not happy about it.
I want Mitchell this year, but Gibson rest of career. Like if Mitchell sucks or gets benched or anything, like he's done. But Gibson has at least a marketable skill set that he could land a solid second contract with another team and still be usable.
That's true. That's a good point, Addison. I was ready to say Mitchell, but you made a great point there.
Yeah.
John, what's the type of trades you look to make to fill out the running back position as the season approaches? Michael Carter, only running back, but have Lance, Cousins, Jefferson, Lamb, Waddle, Higgins, Andrews, and 23 first.
Holy
Great.
crap.
Yeah,
Love it.
I would say don't make any rash moves. I'm fine, being a little light at running back.
Me too. There's still so many moving parts.
Yeah.
The way you fill out your running back position is by taking this exact roster into your 2023 rookie draft and drafting 3 rookie running backs.
Yes.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, even like if you find that you need to at some point, like running backs get so cheap during the season. Older running backs, like if you were a contender and needed to trade something for somebody like that, you probably could do it. Let's see. Camp hype, I know, but Pickens looks like he could be a star opposite Deontay, says Rick.
Oh, absolutely. He's right. He's right. Yeah, the next Randy Moss. Yeah, I'm with it. He's rising up my rankings.
But is he Donald Driver like Romeo Dobbs could be?
The Dub Man.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Jennings. He could be Greg Jennings.
Maybe. I don't know. Pickens might need to move up my rankings more. It feels like he's still a little low.
Yeah. I think Pickens is going to regret me swapping back to Dawson. I had Pickens over Dawson before the draft, and then I switched after the draft, and I feel like Pickens is going to make me regret that.
Who has the better quarterback between Pickens and Dotson?
Dotson next year.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Sean's in a startup, back-to-back picks on the clock. AJ Brown, Debo, Higgins, Waddle, Mixon, pick 2.
AJ Brown easily.
And Waddle.
And then Waddle.
Yes. Clean sweep. Let's see. Ooh, Higgins. Higgins is hard to
ruined it. We were going to go 5 for 5 on the.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Isaiah Pacheco? We talked about that
already.
I don't know. A better chance he gets no carries than enough to make him relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Scuba Steve, does there come a time when you stop targeting first in a startup? Through the 7th round, I have 8 23 first and 3 24s and only drafted one player.
No, I wouldn't say there comes a time. No.
Keep going, Scuba. Keep going.
Keep leaning.
The time might be ish around about now because players might stop being valued at future firsts.
Yeah, but I still, if you can get him, you can get him. So
if you get him,
I'm good with it. I don't have a problem.
Yep.
Did Jeffrey Bezos stop when he got his first $8 billion? No,
he did not. You make a good point.
Kept going. On a team when you're a light at running back, what would be a no-brainer to trade away Tyler Algier? 23 third seconds aren't happening. Have a ton of shares trying to offload a couple.
I mean, if all you're getting is a third, then I just wouldn't move him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Second, I'll take.
He is a perfect guy that it's like if he makes actually starts producing, if he has like a week or two where he is the starter, that you could flip for a second in season to a contender.
But a third, no.
Right. That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. It's not really worth it right now. Just roll the dice that he has opportunity in season because you would be able to then flip for a second.
Yeah.
Would you rather have him or James Robinson?
James Robinson.
Man, it's too easy. Him or Jalen Tolbert?
Jalen Tolbert.
Oh, wow. Okay. Him or David Bell?
David Bell.
Bell over Tolbert, too. That was
Mike, Lance is miles ahead of Hurts in ability.
I mean,
I think I agree with that. It's just
I agree with that as
raw ability.
I agree with that as prospects. I mean, Hurts has already been better in the NFL than I thought he would be. So we'll see. We'll see what Lance does. I mean, Lance was a raw prospect who I think people were more into for the fantasy upside. Was not a lot of discussion about real life Lance.
That's it.
Good comment here from Ed.
Ed hit the nail on the head.
Skip, can we get a shout out for super sleeper
No.
running back Master Teague? Is it too late to get a 23 deep sleeper from Calvin? Yes, it's too early. Too early.
Too early.
I don't even know who the first round is next year. We'll get there.
I do.
Where did Master Teague? Is he in Pittsburgh? Where is he?
Who cares?
I really have no idea.
I think
I'll find
No,
it.
nobody cares about Master Teague.
Hurts needs to be a good NFL QB this year. He's out. He already is. Lance will have all the chance to. I do think this is right. Lance has more job security.
Yep. That's why I have Lance ahead.
But the Steelers. There is opportunity then, Cal. If he could beat out Benny Snell, he could be the RB2 behind Najee.
Let's go.
You mean
It's
Benny
happening.
Snail?
Yep.
Don't forget about what we used to call that. Now Mirage has disappeared, but we still have Mirage has disappeared. I didn't
That's a
even
good
plan
one.
that
I like
one.
that.
Didn't even plan it. But now we just have Snail and McFailure left.
I would rather have Kalen Ballage as the RB2 on the Steelers than.
I'm sorry, he
All those
pulled the
guys.
Mirage and disappeared, so you can't have
Yeah,
him.
I get it.
I do end up defending Hurts a lot, but
I'm far from the anti-Hurts voice either.
Cal, I will say
Not
the number of
anything.
times I've heard the third down and red zone conversion argument from you this
because
year.
nobody pays attention to it, and like
Exactly, there's a
somebody
reason.
takes that,
There's a reason why there's a reason
No,
why nobody pays attention to it because it means
Okay.
nothing. It means nothing at all.
Can I set
Nobody
myself up for
cares.
that?
No one cares.
no talking
Nobody
head
cares.
or
No, nobody-
irrelevant person on Twitter cares about it. NFL
No,
teams care about
nobody
third down
cares. What people
conversions and
care
scoring
about
points.
is the total statistics. How many what percentage of passes you complete, how many touchdowns you throw, how many interceptions you throw. That's what matters. Well, what you did in this one specific scenario is nobody cares about that.
Look, the reason why I keep bringing it up is there was
I'm
a
sorry,
point where
everybody.
all we cared about in baseball was batting average. And then they realized, like, you know what? A walk is just as good as a single. And these guys that are on base 42% of the time, as opposed to 33% of the time, that's better. And I just think the stats that you're talking about don't
But
tell
in
you how good of a
baseball-
quarterback that
In
somebody
baseball,
is.
one of the things that people always, people remember like those big moments, but the teams that really succeeded are the ones who base their signing on overall statistics, not just who was good.
The right
and who to
statistics,
remember.
exactly. The right statistics that lead to production.
Sure, but
that
every
matters.
every single one of those right statistics is a counting everything statistic, not a in this situation XYZ. It's all something that counts, OPS counts everything, every possibility, because every at bat matters. Just like every passing attempt or drop back matters. I don't want to hear about he's good in this particular situation. That doesn't do me any good. I want someone who's going to be good in every situation. I don't want to hear about a specific situation. Let's have someone who's always good. How about that?
I feel like Tyler
Tim.
won that one.
Well, I mean,
I'm just
It's not
I
surprising.
think people are tired of hearing about it, so I'm gonna stop. But I think he's completely
well,
wrong.
I think they're tired. They're not tired of hearing me yell about it. I think the people love that. I mean, all they
You
want
can-
me to do is
You
yell.
can
And
put
I
up
haven't been
like Blake Bortles.
I
put
haven't
up
been
a
giving
lot of
them as
passing
much of
yards. It
it
didn't make him a
over
good
the
quarterback.
last few weeks because I've been tired. But I'm trying to give the people more energy like they've asked for.
Hurts is a running version.
We never
of
even
Jimmy
answered
G.
that
Never
question.
answered-
We
never
never
answered.
answered that.
You got me all thrown off here.
Sorry.
Full PPR, no tight end premium. I trade Justin Fields to get back a 23 mid first and Miles Sanders. Do I do this?
In a 10-team superflex, I'm not even sure Justin Fields is worth that. Honestly, I mean, the 23 first is now removes 111 and 112 from the range of outcomes. So the first is worth more. And then in a 10-team superflex, Justin Fields is not worth nearly as much. Miles Sanders is really worth nothing, but
I'll take Fields because I just
I'll
I don't want
take
to
the
figure out
pick, I
what to do
think.
with Miles Sanders.
I'll take the pick, and just if I can trade Miles Sanders for anything, it's just a bonus. And if I have to eat him, I have to eat him.
I'm taking Justin Fields.
For a
I'm
12-team
not eating
superflex, I
Miles
would take.
Sanders,
If a
so
12-team superflex, I would take Fields.
give me Fields. Dynasty 6 keeper, last pick. Deshaun Watson, Miles Sanders.
Is this?
Lots of Miles Sanders.
Well,
Elijah
sure, but
Moore. Pick one.
is this If it's super flex,
Superflex Watson.
I guess
1 QB
Watson.
more.
If it's a 1 QB, it's Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
12 teams, Superflex, McLaurin, plus what gets Tyreek Hill?
I'm not trading into Tyreek Hill.
A
But
second.
I also want to get rid of McLaurin.
Try the second.
So, second, I guess.
I'm not
but
doing a first.
Oh, well, it's definitely not.
Mm-mm.
I mean, a
But
12 team Superflex, Tyreek's not worth a first on his own.
Yeah, so I would do McLaurin in a second for the Tyreek production.
Yeah. I mean, in redraft, I have Tyreek at 10 and McLaurin at 21. So I do think their production will be different.
Right.
10, and they're not in the same tier. Actually, they're 2 tiers apart.
Gavin says people are really sleeping on Lawrence's rushing ability. Look at his numbers. Top 5 running
Top 5
QB.
running
That's what I
QB?
said. Top 5.
Look, Trevor Lawrence, I actually wrote the article about Trevor Lawrence, which may or may not appear on the website soon. It needs to be, it's in the editor's area, but I did write it. And I did say that Trevor Lawrence's rushing statistics in college are very comparable to Josh Allen's. So, it is Josh Allen just succeeded a lot with touchdowns. They have similar. Lawrence is just as big. I mean, Lawrence is huge. So, it is something that could happen. But top 5 rushing QB, no. I don't think we would call Josh Allen a top 5 rushing QB.
I have 8 quarterbacks right now that I would have as a better running quarterback than Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I think he's somewhere around 10. If we totaled everyone. I mean, who are your 8?
I just got a really gross 9, but I think it's true.
I mean, Kyler,
so
Lamar,
I had Kyler, Lamar,
Lance,
Hurts, and Lance.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Then I had. I'm not really ranking. I had Josh Allen as a better.
Allen. Yeah, I think
running
Allen is
quarterback.
better, more proven as a rusher.
I think Mahomes is a better runner.
One's close to me.
This is where it gets close.
Mariota.
Mariota was the one that I said this is a really gross one, but I think it's true.
Deshaun
Burrow
Watson.
is close.
Burrow is not. No, Burrow definitely not. Burrow is
I
not a
think-
better rusher in college and now is injured. So and did nothing as a rusher. So not at all. Trevor Lawrence is a better rusher than Joe Burrow. Always has.
Okay.
Been.
Watson.
That one is Watson.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Fields was
Fields
do we
was
count
the other
Fields?
one that
Fields
I-
is better
yeah,
rusher than
Fields I was
Lawrence.
thinking
Daniel
was the other one.
Jones.
Daniel Jones, absolutely.
Great
Daniel Jones
rusher.
is better.
Would you put Russell Wilson ahead of
Not anymore.
Lawrence? Not anymore. I don't
Not
think.
anymore. I don't
Not-
think he really runs anymore. Russell Wilson in his prime, of course.
What about
Russell
like
Wilson.
Herbert?
Herbert, I actually think Herbert and Mahomes' his rushers not that different. But I mean, Mahomes doesn't really rush much.
Right.
He's done it in the playoffs a couple of times, but he really doesn't do it otherwise.
But I think when we get to that point, like I'd rather.
I think Lawrence is a
Bet on
better
Lawrence.
runner than Mahomes,
Yeah.
personally.
But we still got 7 or 8, depending.
Yeah, no,
on,
he's
yeah,
not
we're in there.
top 5. No, I think it's a question of is he 8? I think you could say 8 or 9 at best. If you're really mean to him, you could say like 12.
Yeah,
but he is someone who adds with his legs, and I noted that in the article and talked about it in the article and talked about it as one of the reasons why I'm in on Lawrence for both fantasy and real life this year. So I did talk about it.
Tanking for 2023, says Rob Downs. Jonathan Taylor, Russ Wilson for Deshaun Watson, Kyle Pitts. Ooh.
Nah, I wouldn't do this. I get why you would, but I wouldn't. It's risky.
A big tight end premium, I might would do it.
If it's really big, but it doesn't say anything about a tight end premium.
Do you guys make anything of all the
like
talk recently about Jonathan Taylor being like the lowest scoring point?
Wow, he
Running
was
back
the
whatever.
least good best. I'm so sorry that he was the least good best. People will always. This is what I've learned. This is what I've learned about the fantasy community and why I just at this point tune out what everything anyone else says is that like people will always find something. They'll always find something to complain about. He was the least good best. Is that even really? This is the complaint now. No, I don't make anything of it. I don't care. It was in year 2. He's 23 years old. What if he has the LaDainian Tomlinson career path and continues to improve? Is that not a possibility? Christian McCaffrey's best year, for example, another player, his peak year, his league winning year was in year 3, and year 2 was good, but it wasn't league winning. And then year 3 came, and then boom, it was a league winning year. So people are not taking that into account. What if he takes a step forward and becomes even better? So
James Robinson,
not concerned.
Or Zamir White?
James Robinson.
James Robinson.
Trade.
Assume that's
this is DJ Moore actually later in the.
It actually doesn't matter.
DJ Moore
does not matter. It's
Higgins so
first.
easily. Yeah, it does not matter. It's Higgins easily. If it's Elijah Moore, it's a disaster.
What if it's Rondale Moore?
I think the three best assets in the deal.
Yeah, I don't understand this one. This one is not.
This
one makes no sense.
You could take a first off, and it's still Higgins in a first.
Yeah, Higgins is not that. I mean, if it's Higgins for DJ Moore and Judy, that's not that far off.
It's not that far, right?
Yeah.
But with a first, it's easily Higgins.
Yep.
Now that it's redraft season, how do you turn off your dynasty brain? Any particular tricks or exercises?
You want me to write about this one? This one.
This is a good one too.
Article. Yeah, this is going in the article.
I don't think you really should turn off your dynasty brain.
It's going in the article. I think this is the kind of thing we could do a whole show on this. Maybe we should. But I will say this is a good time for me to announce it. I mean, I've announced it many times, but to re-emphasize, I'll be doing the Start Sit show on Sunday morning. I think I'm going to do it solo. I might have a guest or two. I'm not going to have a regular co-host, but if it's very popular, if there's a lot of questions, I might bring in a co-host. But for now, I'm planning to do it alone. So that is one way I would say. How do you get into redraft mode? Is not redraft, but seasonal. Is do start sit rankings. Like last year was the first time I did start sit rankings. I published them on Patreon. I answered questions on Twitter. And because I did that, I was able to remember what actually happened. Not just the narrative that some people create after the fact that's not real. If you actually do weekly rankings, you're in there every week. You have to adjust the players, move them around. You remember events more clearly than if you just look back later and you don't do those weekly rankings. So that's something I would do. That's more in season than August, but something to keep you in like a redraft mindset is doing those weekly start sit rankings. And I guess that's more of a tip for analysts, but it's something anyone can do them. Start sit rankings are not very difficult to make. And if you try it out for a week, see how you like it. And, maybe you like it and then do some more. I don't know. Anybody can take questions on Twitter. The barrier to entry in the fantasy space is nothing. So just keep that in mind. I welcome anyone who wants to create their own rankings or anything. I don't mind. I'm not afraid of competition. That was a non-answer, but it's the answer we're getting.
Really would tell his 18-year-old self not to invest in Circuit City. That's good.
No.
That would be very smart. Yeah, not investing in Circuit City. I remember as a kid, I'm old enough that I went to a Circuit City.
Deontay Johnson, or that's so funny. Like I'm old enough to remember when Circuit City was like just about first becoming a thing.
I don't know if I know what a Circuit City really is.
But I'm from New York City, so
Deontay Johnson or DJ Moore?
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore.
I have him back to back with DJ Moore.
1 QB, half PPR, Deshaun Watson in 3.23 seconds, or Keenan Allen and Zeke.
I mean,
What
I
a
guess I'll go
weird
with
trade.
Keenan Allen and Zeke. This is a weird trade.
Very weird trade.
Yeah, I'll go with Keenan Allen and Zeke, I guess. It's not the worst price to pay to acquire those guys.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah, so I'll go that way.
Let's see. I don't know what this is. Tampa?
Yeah,
Question mark?
Josh Jacobs?
Oh,
No, he's not going to Tampa.
I would not want that.
I wouldn't want that. He's not going there.
Well, for chaos purposes, I would like that, but
Sure.
The chaos grenade would be Denver
or
for
Seattle.
multiple reasons.
Okay, this is a better version of the Tony question.
Yeah, Tony Madison and
Yeah, this is
24
orange.
second for 24 first,
But it's
23
still the
second, and
24.
Marlon.
Yeah, still the 24 first.
Yeah, you're getting closer though.
Better, but it's closer trade, but still the 24 first. Pretty easily.
Derek Kelly, 16 team
Oh,
Dynasty
boy,
IDP.
All right.
Happy
So
PR.
just, yeah. So
We're still
on
rookie
a-
drafting.
We're on a rookie draft here. So a rookie draft with 2, 4, and 5. I mean, I don't know anything about how IDP ranks, but
I don't think there's anybody in the top 5.
probably not. So I don't know. I mean, I still have Garrett Wilson at 2, or I guess that's changed since maybe the last time I talked about it. I have Drake London at 3 and Kenneth Walker at 4, Treylon Burks at 5. So that's my answer.
London's my 2. If you can get Burks at 4, I'm great with that. And then see who goes
I'm worried about Treylon Burks. I'm worried about Treylon Burks.
Why?
Because he wasn't that great of a prospect in the first place. Like, this is not last year. People are comparing Treylon Burks to Jamar Chase, but Jamar Chase is the best wide receiver prospect ever. And Treylon Burks is, I mean, he's good. He's
not a bad prospect. He's got a weird
no, he's
profile,
not bad.
Not bad.
He's not bad, but he's not good enough where I'm just going to dismiss the fact that he's been terrible all training camp and just be like, oh no, he's so great. He's going to overcome it for sure. 100% he's fine. I'm not going to give him the same. Absolutely terrible. He's been terrible. He has not really taken the alpha role in the offense he was supposed to take. He's not doing any of that. He, is not taking the first team reps. Robert Woods is the clear number 1 wide receiver on that team. He's not even competing for that role. So now I haven't dismissed him. I probably actually have him higher than most do now because I haven't lowered him as much, but I have none of these concerns with Garrett Wilson and Drake London that I do with Treylon Burks. And I'd rather take my chances on Kenneth Walker over Treylon Burks because Kenneth Walker has actually been decent in training camp. He's been getting passing game work, which I like to hear, even if Rashad Penny is still ahead of him at the moment. Rashad Penny's made of glass.
Basically,
and don't forget, Marlon Mack started in 2020 over Jonathan Taylor week 1. We just never saw it because he tore his Achilles in that game. But Marlon Mack was started.
Basically, with 2, 4, and 5, that 5 is the drop-off point, I think.
Yeah, 5 will be who's ever left.
So take who you have the most confidence in. For me, it's London. For Tyler, it's Wilson.
Yeah.
And then see who 3 picks and then grab the other 2 guys, and you're good.
Pretty much, yeah. It's not hard.
Yeah.
Komet, Alberto, or Njoku?
Okay, these players are actually not close to each other. I'll have Komet easily. It's in that order. Komet easily, then Alberto, and then Njoku, and none of them are very close. Alberto went way up when Tim Patrick got hurt.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I think I have Alberto first.
That was a big deal because I think that opened the door for him to be the number 3 target. Whereas I had it as Patrick. I had Patrick having the 3rd most targets, 3rd most receptions on the team. Now I think that could be Alberto. So the door majorly opened for Alberto with that injury because I don't believe in KJ Hamler at all. So
well, you don't have to go that far, but okay.
Well, I mean, to say I don't believe in him is an understatement. I mean, 2 years of now that I didn't have to go that far, now we're going to have to go a little farther, I think, right? I mean, we have to go a little farther, right, on KJ Hamler's disastrous rookie year where he had lots of playing time and did nothing with it. There was a lot of playing time. He managed 30 receptions in 13 games and 381 yards over that period of time, despite the fact that he had plenty of playing time. And then he didn't earn any targets. And then in year 2, he did nothing and then got hurt. So that's the player that we want to believe in. So yeah, now we'll have to go farther. That's what we had to do. But in all seriousness, Alberto.
Fields plus what equals Trey Lance?
Ugh.
This is another one of those where it's like, I want to pay Fields in a second, and I don't think I'm paying Fields in a first.
I'm not going to pay Fields in a first, but I would pay like Fields and
2 seconds.
I would pay that, yeah. But I would pay Fields and like a player I don't love that I'm trying to move.
No,
like if I could move
Fields, Antonio Gibson in a second.
Yes, I would. I think I would still pay that.
I just made your trade for you.
Yeah, I think I'd still pay that.
You haven't.
But I think something I'd maybe like to do a little more. Well, actually, that's a pretty good deal. That's pretty up there on things I'd like to do. But if I could move Fields and like
Josh
Fields
Jacobs in a second.
Yeah, Fields and Josh Jacobs in a second.
Fields and Terry McLaurin in a second.
I was actually thinking about that. Fields and Terry McLaurin for Trey Lance.
Yep.
That's the kind of thing I might want to do. You literally stole it right out of my mouth.
Can Eno outperform Chase Edmonds' Arizona career season total?
No.
This hurts me. I loved Eno coming out. but I
He's
can't
running
ignore
with the
fact that he's,
second
like,
team,
never
though.
actually
He's
played.
running. I don't know, man. If Eno Benjamin comes out and is good, I
think
don't
Benjamin
know.
is fine. He's another one of those guys that I think you should have on your roster if you're a competing team, because I think there's opportunity there for him.
Yeah,
I just want to believe that it's Darrell Williams, but if Eno is the
it's-
guy, I have shares
Yeah,
of
I'm
Eno
worried.
just in
You know,
case.
one thing I am really worried about is that like Keontae Ingram is not going to make the team at all.
That would be so sad because
I know, but he's got an ice cold nothing.
Keontae
like-
should get cut, then be signed by the Texans and be the Texans starting running back by like week 4 because he's so much better than Damian.
No, like
Pierce.
I understand, but like Keontae Ingram has had no hype at all.
I know. I
Nothing.
literally have not heard his name.
I am concerned that I literally am concerned that Keontae Ingram is not going to make the team. But let's see what happens. It's still early. So yeah, I still think it's going to be Darrell Williams, but I'm not as confident as I was.
Have both. They're both cheap enough that you can have both.
You can have all three.
Yeah. Well.
You can.
Thoughts on Kyle Phillips?
Okay. I think he's a real deal.
I think he's pretty freaking good.
He is. And I've been talking about Kyle Phillips since the draft. Maybe, you know what I've learned? Maybe I'm not so bad. Maybe I'm not so bad as a rookie analyst, because this is another player that I was talking about right as it happened. And I was like, oh, well, I kind of like his opportunity in the 5th round there. You know, Traylon Burks is a little bit out there, and Robert Woods is recovering from the ACL. And then they don't really have a wide receiver 3. So, yeah, real deal. I think that he should be rostered in every league, for sure, if he isn't somehow.
Yeah.
And now it's still at the point, if you can get any third, I would still take it. But I think he's going to do something. I don't think he's just going to flame out.
Yep, I do agree.
Love it. Carp, you told everybody to buy Jacobs for first.
Fake news.
What can Tyler Boyd in 2 seconds land
All
in
right.
terms of a wide receiver?
Tyler Boyd in 2 seconds can land you. I mean, this is the trade game that I didn't do very well on Dynasty Game Night. But I did remember Isaiah Crowell and Jay Ajayi. I don't know if anyone listened to that
Isaiah Crowell.
It was a game about 2017 running backs who was in the top 15 in ADP, and I remembered that Isaiah Crowell and Jay Ajayi were in that top 15.
I took Crowell.
Yeah, well, it didn't work out well for you. But Tyler Boyd in 2 seconds, can that land you Darnell Mooney?
No.
Or do you think you can
That
do even
seems
better?
high.
I can't get you Darnell Mooney.
seems
How about
too
Sky
high.
Moore?
I'm in. I don't know if that's getting you
I
Sky
would
Moore.
do
though.
it. I don't think you could do it. I think the best you could get is like
Kadarius
Allen
Toney?
Robinson.
But am I really even paying in a super flex? Am I going to pay 2 seconds for Kadarius Toney? Probably not.
That's true.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Would you
I
do
want Toney to be
Devonta
a
Smith?
pick so bad.
Oh well, I mean, yes, I would take Devonta Smith.
I would
No,
definitely
just-
do
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm just checking. Juju.
A buy low on not Juju. A buy low on Devonta Smith is kind of a move I like right now because I dislike his short term potential. But Devonta
What?
Smith,
You argued with me so fiercely over how bad Devonta Smith was.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did. Oh my God.
But my ranking on Devonta Smith has not changed. My ranking on Devonta Smith is where it was when we had that argument and where it was since the AJ Brown trade. I just, and we might have been talking about something a little different. I mean, I have Devonta Smith in redraft ranked at wide receiver 37, so not very high. But I'm unwilling after the Hollywood Brown trade and all that played out from that to just dismiss talented players because they're in situations where they can't succeed. But yes, he's not going to succeed in this spot. He
FF
has to go
Lefty.
somewhere else.
What's up, dude? Appreciate you tuning in. Let's see.
This is also why that just watching this show is there's only so much I can communicate in a 2-hour show. Just watching this show is not going to tell you how I feel about trade values of every player we're talking about. I can sometimes argue with Cal, and then you'll find, if you actually look at my rankings, you'll find that I'm higher on that player than it seems. So, that's why we have, Twitter, Patreon, all those other things.
There's another outlet coming very soon. Tease.
I assume
Yes.
if you say something negative, you hate the person and would never take them. So
Yeah.
that's what I assume.
I'm sure that's what the people think too.
14 team, 1 QB, Kyler Murray and David Montgomery, or Trey Lance and Rashad Bateman.
Lance and Bateman.
Yeah. It's these my rankings in one QB of QB make no sense.
Man. I
Dude,
flipped.
David
I'm
Montgomery
on
got,
Kyler.
like,
I'm on Kyler.
all the
Montgomery.
work last year when he came back.
I'll take Kyler and Montgomery. I guess.
I flipped.
Yeah.
Kyler Montgomery.
I'm a little worried about the reports that he's going to play special teams.
I'm worried about that. I've lowered Montgomery a good amount, but I'll still take Kyler and Montgomery because Kyler could be a league winner, even in one game.
Right.
That's such a weird.
Trey Lance, we don't know.
Let's see. Tanking 12 team Superflex. I need to ditch Goff. What's the least you'd take?
1 second.
Yep. With you.
He's got good weapons.
But he's bad. I mean, you saw that
he's not long for a starting role.
once the Sean McVay whisper was not available to him, he wasn't able to do anything.
That's gonna be a great landing
you
spot for
remember the
Clemson.
day that the headset broke and then he literally had no clue what to do? He was like literally running around with a chicken with his head cut off because he didn't know anything other than what Sean McVay told him to do. That's all he was able to do.
Pato, 10 team Superflex, 23 first, Hurts and Pittman for Lamar.
Yeah, in a 10-team Superflex, that's excessive. I'll take the package side.
Yeah.
It's the Hurts side.
Yeah. Even in a regular Superflex,
I'd do that. I was
going to
say
excessive.
that
feels
side
excessive.
in probably every league.
Yeah, not necessary to pay that much. So I'll take the package.
12 team Superflex, Malik Willis. Remember when he was the 101? 23 second, 23 third, or Dobbins.
Dobbins. This
Dobbins.
is Dobbins easily.
Dobbins easily. Yeah, Dobbins easily.
Thoughts on Eno? That's another.
We talked about
him a little bit. Juwan Jennings would surpass Ayuk.
No, he had his chance to do that.
The only wide receiver that could do that, I think, on the Niners right now is Danny Gray. And I don't think that's happening.
I don't think Danny Gray is in the doghouse right now.
I have Swift sold Eno Benjamin for Jamal Williams. I think he's overhyped, and I made out well for my handcuff.
I mean, I have Jamal Williams ranked higher, so I guess
I like
did
it.
fine. Yeah.
I would have rather kept Eno and Jamal. That's just
Yeah, I would have rather traded Eno Benjamin for like a 3rd-round pick instead, but it's fine.
Claypool and Juju are
Okay.
trash.
I mean,
Next.
yes, honestly.
Claypool, I don't necessarily.
I think they're
disagree
both
with.
trash.
I don't know if Eno. Yeah.
Same.
Good stuff. Ayuk in a second, way over Judy. Yeah,
Nah.
that was from earlier. Javonta and Devonta Smith, or Adams, Brandon Cooks, and Waller.
A Javante side.
Javonte.
Yeah, easily. Let's see. Would you want a projected mid 23 first or 24 first and second?
Mid 23 first.
Peyton Hitchcock, 12 team, 1 QB, PPR, not tight end premium, Pitts and Godwin, or Jefferson and Hawkinson.
Pitts and Godwin.
Yeah.
Not that far off, but Pitts and Godwin.
It's the difference is Godwin and Hawkinson.
Yeah, it's far, but it's I'd rather in a not tight end premium. I'd easily rather have Jefferson over Pitts. But
Rick says Amani St. Brown is a league winner. Book it.
he could be. He could be. He showed the upside to do it. So absolutely could be.
Not out.
Next.
The amount of people who right now think Sutton is going to be a top 12 wide receiver this season, you can
Yeah, I
unload
don't
him for a
understand
haul.
that.
I'm out.
I
Don't
don't
get
think
it.
you can unload him for a haul. I think that's
yes, yes,
the,
you can, because a certain, let's just say that a certain high profile podcast has been talking about him constantly as like a league winner all the time. So, and a lot of people listen to that podcast. So people listen to that podcast and might be willing to buy him. So I think you can sell him. I actually like that podcast. I am well aware that there is a constant narrative of Sutton being top 12. So you absolutely have someone in your league who buys it.
Is Mike Evans worth trading a top 6 23 round One pick.
Trading away for, yes. Trading.
I want the first.
I want
Yeah,
the first.
me too.
Yeah.
We'll word it that way.
Jefferson and Olave or AJ Brown and Waddle.
AJ Brown and Waddle.
easily.
Yeah. Caleb Puckett, 306 and a 23 first, 404 and 509 Superflex tight end premium startup.
I'd rather 23 first over 509, and I'd rather 306 over 404. So 306 second.
Yep. Do you yourself a favor by Bed Bath & Beyond stock? This is not financial advice. I don't know.
I love it.
Dang, was BBB that like low? Man, that seems weird that Bed Bath & Beyond would
we
be
did the
stock
Akers
that
and Brees Hall question already. We did this. This
Let's
one.
see. Startup pick. Would you start accepting 24 first?
Ooh. A lot lower. Because usually for me in a normal year, that line is somewhere in the 6th. Usually it's around pick 65 to 70, somewhere in there in most years. So yeah, 24 class is not, I'd say, I'm looking at it right now. 73 is in a super flex. 73 is Devonta Smith. Would I take a 24 first for Devonta Smith? Probably not.
I was about to say, like,
David Montgomery, maybe I would. David Montgomery, maybe I would. So there it is.
What am I looking at? I'm in the wrong thing because I'm like when I.
Well, you're not. No. You're not looking at anything you can see. I'm looking at my Patreon rankings.
I'm just looking at my general DLF ADP.
I have my ranking,
Devonta Smith rank ADP. This is when the player.
I came up with the answer though. It's for Devonta Smith. If it's assuming it's super flex for Devonta Smith, I wouldn't, and for David Montgomery, I would. So that's between 73 and 74 overall, which is the early 7th.
Yep.
There you go. There's your answer.
Who Dat dude is in the house? What's up? Who Dat say they're gonna beat them Saints? Not the Bucks. Are you guys watching Hard Knocks? Nervous?
Never watched an episode
on this year.
Never watched an episode.
I've
watched clips.
I want to.
I'm just not that interested. To be like really honest, I spend all day thinking about football. So the last thing I want to do in my free time is watch another show about football. I need like a break.
You know what show I really enjoyed about football? It was the Amazon one that they would do that they would drop after the NFL season. It is called like All or Nothing or something like that.
I just kind of feel honestly
I think they did one of the Colts. They've done a few years now. I remember watching one on the Cardinals and on the Bruce Arians Cardinals.
I just don't want to get burnt
out.
That would
be
with David Johnson and stuff. I remember.
I don't want to get burnt out.
I like that.
Well, it was just cool because it really went behind the scenes. Like they were like in meeting rooms with players as they were like scheming and preparing for weeks and stuff.
I think that's where you learn a lot, where you can stop being like influenced by the fluff that gets put out on Twitter. Like, I think when you start like listening to those details and paying attention, you can learn a lot and be a lot smarter fantasy player.
Yeah, I'd rather watch that than a lot of other like podcasty or anything like that.
Is there a world where Wan'Dale Robinson is the only viable playmaker on the Giants and he has a meteoric rise similar to what Elijah Moore did?
Yes.
Is there a world? Yes. Is it what I predict? No.
Wan'Dale Robinson,
I do like him though,
and Elijah Moore are very, very, very similar prospect profiles. Analytically, they are very, very, very similar.
I hear what you're saying, but I'll have to say that that's not really true. Analytically, you're right, but they're not similar in any way. They're very different players. I mean, what you want Wan'Dale Robinson to do in the NFL has nothing to do with what you want Elijah Moore to do.
No, that's true. I'm just saying. I just think it's funny that people toss aside Wan'Dale Robinson.
No.
So much in favor for Elijah Moore.
I was in on Wan'Dale Robinson from the beginning. Another player that I was in on from the beginning because of the production profile that you mentioned. I just want to make sure that the people understand that what we're not saying is that they have anything in common as the role they're going to have as players. Nothing. No. They are very different.
The city they live in. Oh, that is
height.
Being friends with DK Metcalf and AJ Brown.
Right.
I mean, maybe Wan'Dale's friends with them. I don't know.
Right. Mac Jones, Treylon Burks, Garrett Wilson, rank them.
Mac Jones first, then Garrett Wilson, and Treylon Burks last.
My list is that order.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm nervous about Mac Jones.
Yeah, he's like the player I'm not nervous about. It's like, okay, yeah, he's gonna be fine. Yeah,
You know
no,
who
he's
is
good. He's
falling
gonna
for
be
this for him this
for
year?
years. He's okay. No upside, no excitement. Someone tried to tell me today that he could be top 10. I was like, at 10 is like his ceiling.
I think it could be bottom 10.
I mean, I have him ranked there. Like for redraft, I don't have him ranked very high, but it's just kind of like I have him ranked in redraft. I guess I don't know. I do have him bottom. Yeah, in 4-point, I have him at 23, and in 6-point, I have him at 22. And I feel it's just that I don't see the upside. It's like there's no upside.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I just take Derek Carr instead? It's a much better version of that in redraft.
Yeah.
But I do think that Mac Jones, even if he's not the best for fantasy, Mac Jones was, as a rookie, was very good. Very good for a rookie and very good overall. He played well. And I don't generally rookies who play well as a rookie end up having solid NFL careers. And I think he will. Will it be a fantasy star? Will he be a fantasy star? No, he doesn't run and he doesn't have that explosive passing upside that we're looking for. But will he be a quarterback who, is middle of the road to maybe a little bit above average for NFL purposes and holds down a job for years like Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and that's what the
And if he gets the right weapons, he could have a Carr or Cousins-like season at a time. But also remember what happened to those guys when they didn't have the right weapons. They were in the 20s. So let's keep that in mind.
It's Matt Patricia for me. That's what makes me nervous. But saying that he's going to be the de facto offensive coordinator and call plays.
Sure, but you're talking about short-term things.
Gross.
So this is a player who was who had a very good rookie season, and quarterbacks who have good rookie seasons almost always succeed, especially if they're first-round picks. So I'm just going to bet that he is going to be exactly what I think he is. A good real-life NFL quarterback who is a fantasy disappointment compared to his real-life talent. And I don't see any reason to rank him in any other way.
10-team 1 QB Keenan plus 23 third for Rachaad White plus a 23 second.
Right. I still think Keenan Allen is worth more.
Yeah, I still think it's Keenan.
I am getting Rachaad White as someone who, if in a month Rachaad White is a top 15 running back, I wouldn't, not a month, but 2 months, if he's a top 15 running back, I would not be that surprised. It's in the range of outcomes. So he's someone I'm a little tepid on trading away. I'm a little scared to trade him away. But Keenan Allen's side is worth more here, especially in 1 QB.
We touched on this a little bit earlier. Burks or Walker?
Walker.
I'm good with Walker.
Antonio Gibson and a third or Hollywood?
Let me just have Hollywood and get out of the Gibson business.
Yep.
AJ Brown for Elijah Moore and a 23 second.
This is an insulting offer. AJ Brown easily. This is insulting.
I get what you're trying to do, but it's not.
Don't send this. This. I mean, you can send it if you want, but I would be insulted by this offer. It's AJ Brown.
Oh, see, I assume Jaden is trying to trade down and pick up a second.
Well, then don't do it.
Or tried to trade down to Elijah.
Yeah, don't do it. Then.
Yeah.
I need at least a first with Elijah Moore, and I don't think that's enough for me.
If that's what you're doing, I think you could do. I think you'd probably do a little bit better. This might also just be loves Elijah Moore.
I can't sell AJ Brown. AJ Brown is elite.
Brendan wants to know if we have any faith in Seattle finding an answer at QB next year.
Yes, but they can't be worse than it is now. But I will say, just remember that a quarterback upgrade is never a guarantee. Look at what the Panthers are dealing with now. Like we all thought, they're going to draft a quarterback. They're going to have Deshaun Watson. They're going to have this. They're going to have that. And they have Baker Mayfield. That is okay. I mean, you have the 25th best instead of the 30th best. So like having a star quarterback, the Commanders, people were thinking they could have a quarterback upgrade. They have Carson failure. So it's just not a guarantee that they're going to end up. It's hard to be in the top 3 picks. Teams win sometimes 5, 6, 7 games by accident. There was the Adam Gase year with the first year he was with the Jets coach. So they won like 7 or 8 games. Like it does. You don't have to, you can luck into a few wins and end up being a 7-win team instead of a 4-win team. So it's not a guarantee that they have a star quarterback, but yes, I would expect them to have a better quarterback next year than they do this year. I still think that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to end up as their quarterback.
I think it's a guarantee to have a better quarterback because you literally there's 35 quarterbacks better than Drew.
Right. I
Lock.
literally just said that.
Right.
So
That's
we
what-
agree.
So it's a guarantee that
those
they're
is
going to
Geno
have
Smith.
a better quarterback. It's just not a guarantee that they're going to have a better quarterback that helps Drew or DK Metcalf or, significantly more than what they have right now.
Yeah, I still think that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be released by the 49ers. So the drop dead date is actually September 10th. They can hold him on the initial 53-man roster, but until September 10th, his money is not guaranteed. So he can survive cut down day and still be there. It's not until he's on the week 1 roster that the money's guaranteed. So they can hold him all the way until September 10th, the day before week 1. And I think they might, to be honest, as vindictive as that is, I think they might, to make sure he doesn't go to Seattle until the last possible minute. But I think that really the only team interested in trading for Jimmy Garoppolo is Seattle. I don't think any other team will trade for him, with the exception of Cleveland, if it's a full year for Deshaun Watson, or even maybe 12 games. I think they would consider. I think Jimmy G would be fine with, I'm starting 12 games and then benched for the last 5 for Watson. I think Jimmy G, unlike Baker, would accept that. And that's better than where he's now, where he's not playing any games. So he would prefer 12 games over 0 games to showcase himself. So I do think Jimmy Garoppolo is somewhere around 18, 19, 20 as a quarterback. I think he should be a starter, personally. I think he's good. Not great, but I think he's good.
Agreed.
Zero faith. I think we give Pete Carroll too much credit for lucking into Russell Wilson in the 3rd round. And they've made terrible QB decisions outside of that.
Yeah, I agree with you, but it can't be worse than this year.
If Seattle's garbage, is Carroll gone, though? Does he just retire and say, I don't want to deal with this?
I'm surprised he hasn't retired this
I'm a
year.
Seattle fan. I guess I hope so at that point, right?
I think so. I think it's going to take a kind of a shift in coaching staff to pull the trigger. I could see them being in a top 3 position and Stroud or Young are there, and they just don't pull the trigger.
Oh my God.
And that would
they would literally be like the laughing stock. They would be the laughing stock of the league if that's what happened.
I could see it, but I think the chances rise of them not doing that and taking a quarterback if Pete Carroll's not there.
Is an early 23-second too much to move from Hollywood to Deontay?
I'd take Deontay.
I'd just stick with Hollywood there.
I think I would too.
What does this mean?
Keep trade cut.
Keep trade cut. Gainwell,
Easy.
Mack, Jamal Williams.
I'll keep Gainwell, trade Mack, and cut Williams.
I'm going to marry Jamal Williams.
I think I'm trading Jamal Williams and cutting Mack. I think you're getting more for Jamal.
I think you get more from Mack because there's a chance he could be the starter.
Oh, apparently not. I was told emphatically by
who told
Florida
you that?
Gator fans who constantly quote tweeted me the same image of a Texans beat reporter telling us that Dameon
Mack
Pierce
is currently listed
running back 1.
Well, Mack is currently listed as their star.
Well, you can argue with Florida Gator fans, man, because they are.
That's what I have a block button for.
No, it's just you get shared into a group and they all come at you.
Better rushing quarterbacks than Trevor Lawrence?
Yep.
He's a tight end now. He's a tight end now. Let's remember.
He's a quarterback at heart.
He's a tight end.
Cam Newton. Bring Cam Newton back and he's better.
Oh my God.
TK Wrestle's my favorite show. These guys are awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
TK.
Thanks, TK.
This is also my favorite YouTube chat.
I agree.
Chayton Homan ended a super flex draft with Elijah Mitchell and AJ Dillon and Ramondre Stevenson. The rest of my team is ready to contend. What move should I make at the running back position? League mates don't value picks enough.
You don't have to make any moves.
No, don't make any moves. This is great.
Just hold on and
Again,
stick with your players. Yeah. You don't have
build
to
the back end of your running back depth.
Yep.
That's a great job. You did great. Gavin Ferguson, 12 teams super flex, start 10, half PPR, gave 224 first, 23 second. Mac. Who is this? Noah Brown?
Noah Brown.
Get Elijah Moore, AJ Dillon, Devery Henderson in 2 seconds.
I want Elijah Moore.
I'll take
and AJ Dillon.
I guess I'll take that side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess so.
2 first.
Yeah.
24 though.
I'll take Elijah Moore and AJ Dillon.
Sure.
Buck, 12 teams, Superflex, half PPR, traded Mixon and received Wentz, Pittman, 24 second, and 25
It's
second. Wow. It's a long-standing
fine,
league,
yeah.
friends, and family.
I'll take that. I'll take the package side. I don't have Mixon and Pittman that different.
Yeah, that's really the key there.
Yeah, I'll take the package side.
Everything else is just kind of gravy.
So you want Wentz, huh?
No, I don't.
We're doing it.
No, I
Good job,
don't. Do we need to talk about the video?
No.
Do we need to do the Wentz?
No, it's
motion?
11:13. No.
Yeah.
No,
12 team, half
you
PPR.
didn't know that the show was extended to 4 hours this week.
No.
I'm not ready.
Tight
No,
end
you're not ready.
premium. Oh, no tight end premium. Excuse me. Firemouth and Brees or Pitts and Algier. Pitts and Algier.
I think it's still Pitts for me.
Pitts and Algier.
If
Pat
Freiermuth is a better
Freiermuth
tight end.
is falling down my rankings.
Why?
He was too high
well,
to begin with.
That's part of it, but also maybe he
both
was
hate
too
Penn
high to
State.
begin with. But I think the problem is that this George Pickens emergence is not good, because if this is how many weapons. I mean, Deontay Johnson was extended, which is also bad, and then George Pickens emerged. And if George Pickens is emerging, Chase Claypool still exists. Where does that leave Pat Freiermuth?
I think people overrate how good Pat Freiermuth was last year.
He was pretty good
Like
for
the-
a rookie tight end. He was pretty good.
For a rookie tight end, he was very good.
great.
He was
but,
very
like,
good.
He
I
I think people are also not predicting or not really
he had
ready
60
for
receptions as a rookie. That is very good.
Right. But I think
That's excellent.
the Ben Roethlisberger Steelers offense, I think people overestimate how bad Ben Roethlisberger was because he really had a tendency to just hone in on guys.
No,
And
I hear what
Mitch
you're saying.
Trubisky or Kenny Pickett just changes a lot of that.
Right,
That's
but-
why I'm kind of scared on Deontay Johnson. That's, people talk about,
Well-
Deontay's been a 300 target guy over the last 2 years combined.
But
Why
we
is
see
he-
how they see him now. They were willing to give him $18 million a year for 2 more years.
I'll be right back.
Sure. But Deontay was
So-
also Ben through to Deontay.
Yeah, but you don't
when
give
he
someone
didn't
18.
have-
You don't give someone $18 million a year that played a certain role if you didn't like what they did in that role.
Oh, I mean, I think everybody likes Deontay Johnson. I'm just saying,
Right,
I just don't know if
I'm
he
not-
is the same, going to
I'm
be
not
the
worried
same
about
heavily
Deontay
targeted
Johnson.
player.
I'm not worried about Deontay Johnson. What I'm worried about is that George Pickens is emerging, and then if he is also a star, then that leaves Chase Claypool and Pat Freiermuth out in the cold.
Right. And if Najee's still getting, 80 targets out of the backfield.
Actually, that's what I think is going to go down. I don't expect Najee's targets to remain.
that's just, there's a lot of different pieces here in this offense that's really hard
Yes,
to
it's a
hone
rare
in
offense that has 5 players that
are all
are
capable of
actually
having 80 plus
without a quarterback to support them.
Right. Exactly.
I'll take Pitts and Algier.
Yep.
This Jahan Dotson or Drake London.
Drake London.
This isn't close.
Stop making me hate Penn State.
Ryan King, sup Bells? Would y'all trade 23 first and Tolbert for DK Metcalf?
Without a second thought.
Yep.
Absolutely. I do love Tolbert though. T. Etienne, Gabe Davis, and a mid 23 second for Jamar Chase and a late 23 first.
Oh,
Chase.
I was going to say, if
Chase
it without the
first?
first, this is the package.
But with it, it's Chase.
But I said for some reason, I blocked out the late 23 first, and that changes the whole entire
it's
deal.
Chase pretty easily.
Sean took Waddle over Higgins. It got roasted.
It doesn't matter.
That's all right. I'm fine with
I don't
it.
know who's roasting you. Who's roasting you, Sean? Maybe you need new friends.
Yeah. I'll be your friend. How about that? Sign up for the Patreon.
Strangers on the internet. See, it
I'll
all goes
roast
back.
you, but no one will ever see it.
Is Mac worth a first in Superflex?
Yes.
I'd say
No.
yes.
I don't like Mac at all.
Okay.
Cam Ward over Stroud or Young? Heard it here first.
I think
I have no idea.
Cameron Ward Truther. Okay.
Apparently, no, I was gonna say, well, yeah, like you have like the wrong deeper quarterback for next year's class because apparently everybody seems to believe that Will Levis is going to be a top 3 pick. So
Yeah, everyone believes in him.
yeah,
12 teams: Superflex, Kittle, Dawson, 23 first, or Andrews, Godwin in a second.
Andrew said.
Yeah,
Close.
I had to think about it for a second.
We answered
Mike Evans or 23 first.
23 first.
DK Metcalf or Elijah Mitchell, TDP, and a 23 first.
Well, if you're rebuilding, why are you trading a 23 first away?
Right.
Yeah, I'd rather just get rid of Elijah Mitchell if you're rebuilding and keep the 23 first. I mean, this is fine. I mean, the value's on the Metcalf side. But
yeah, I do like the Metcalf side too.
But I like keeping the 23 firsts also. But maybe see what you can get for Elijah Mitchell, honestly.
Right.
If you have DK,
this isn't good enough.
I assume local liability has DK in this scenario.
Not sure. No, well, he says he currently has 3 firsts, so I'm not sure. But I'll take the Metcalf side has more value. If that helps.
Tyreek Hill.
This question has been asked a lot, actually. Versions of this exact question. I'll take Pittman.
Pittman will have more value. Watch my
We're not far away from Pittman having more value than Tyreek Hill now.
I think he already does.
Yeah, I think he already does. He actually has a higher ADP.
Yes, he does.
How many leagues are we in? You guys don't do a lot of leagues.
Me, I'm basically retired.
Dynasty leagues, I'm in 4. And I regret being in that.
Like, if you hear... so, like, I play Trade
like
Addicts. I play Trade Addicts 8 as me. I play Scott Fishbowl. And then other than that, and anything else I do is either Patreon, me helping someone else out, but at like solo, like playing as Styler, like I don't do that. And I can't see the time where I join another league again, just because it's hard. Like when I play, I'm ruthless and I do anything to win. And I just don't, this is not really my vibe as like a content creator. And it feels weird to play in leagues like with people I know, and they all know it's me. And it's like, I haven't had good experiences with it lately. So, you know,
I'm in more than 20.
What I have the Patreon for.
Jesus, dude.
Romeo Dobbs, I don't think, or Dobbs, excuse me. He corrected everybody.
I traded him for a 24 second.
I
traded for a 24 second. I traded him away for a 24 second in Trade Addicts 8. Would you do that?
Not
Superflex 10 and premium.
Crap. I wish I talked more about Romeo Dobbs during the rookie season.
I did.
As a guy to like draft in the 4th round.
Oh, I said it many times. Many times.
Yeah.
I had him ranked. I had him ranked
there.
in the.
Didn't talk about him there now.
Well, he was ranked at 218 in July's ADP, and I had him in the 160s overall for 1 QB. So I was very, very far ahead of his ADP. Again, maybe I'm not so bad. I always get criticized for my rookie analysis because I'm not a Debbie guy. So it's like, oh, Debbie guy can't do it. But maybe I'm not that bad. Maybe 3 months is enough time to mostly catch up.
I would say don't trade for him right now.
I mean, I told you what I got. Would you have accepted that if you'd been me? 24 second?
I think I might still cash out for a third.
I don't know about that. I
might ride that roller coaster for a third. Because I'm on team Dubs over Watson.
I'm getting
on that
there.
team in May as well after the draft. And I just wish I vocalized that more.
Yeah,
I feel like I didn't.
I'm getting there. But
when I was in that late round rookie draft,
yeah, I wouldn't sell. I'd need a second to sell at this point. I'm not selling for a third. A third is not that exciting.
Dubs. Are you muted?
Shoot, sorry. Again, this is I can't remember who had this stat, but no 4th round pick or later has ever had 1,000 yards in their rookie season.
I don't care about that kind of stat though. I'm focused on this
since
player.
2020, since 20.
Right, but I don't care.
Sorry, since 2000.
But I don't care. I want to hear about. Let's focus on this.
I
player.
do, because I'd rather not go trade something of value right now for someone
Clearly,
who's
I
not
just
gonna
traded
gain
him
value.
away, so I don't.
Yeah,
I just.
I'm agreeing with you then.
Well, you're not agreeing with me because I don't want to totally dismiss the possibility that he could be good. I would say that I have his value. I would trade him away for a second, but if I'm only being offered a third, he's been good enough in camp that I'd just take my chances and keep him.
Amon
That's
Ra
all.
had 912.
Yeah. But it is what it is.
Close. Could you see Wandale having enough of a role in the offense to be a weekly flex option?
I'm going to say no because
Yes.
the offense is going to be so bad.
Wandale is what everybody wanted Rondale Moore to be last year. Wandale's
Oof.
gonna.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say
Kind
no.
of hyped on Rondale.
But I will say that what I expect is that Wandale Robinson has a relatively good rookie year. It's not fantasy viable, but it's relatively good that causes his ADP to rise. And he's a player that people are looking at in 2023 as a potential breakout star. That's my opinion.
Ooh, does Kyle Phillips get over 950?
That's asking so much for a 5th round pick. I'm going to say no. But definitely someone I'm on.
Edmund
London.
and Sky Moore or Drake London?
London easily.
Sean's best friend roasted him.
Aw.
Sorry.
That's
Sean.
the best always. You have a best friend, Addison, that sometimes comes in here and roasts you, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's a good back and forth.
Yeah.
Our redraft draft is on Sunday, so that's gonna be fun.
Nice.
Let's
That's
see.
not a big Will Levis fan, I guess.
Trade Najee for Brees and a 23 first, which
Yes.
would
Easily.
Yes.
Easily. Yeah.
Yes.
Just take Brees in the 23 first, and then let's see what
You
happens.
could replace Brees with like 7 other running backs in that range, and I'd still do this.
I'll take, Brees in the first, though.
What's the lowest you take for Davis Mills?
Lowest? Yeah, I guess so. I'd rather hold on to Davis Mills over someone like Goff because Davis Mills hasn't failed yet.
Right. I'd actually pay a second for Davis Mills.
I guess I would, but I'd rather for Davis Mills. I'd like to get more than just a second. Probably rather at least have 2 seconds or a second and deeper player I like a second in Nico Collins or a second in Josh Palmer, second in Romeo Dubs, second in Kenneth Gainwell, even something like that.
Or flipping for a player that people don't view as a first round value. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Could you trade Davis Mills straight up for, if it's not a quarterback, could you trade him straight up for George Pickens? Probably not, right?
Probably not. I was thinking could you do I think you could.
Jahan Dotson.
Oh.
No, I'd rather have Mills over Ramondre.
I think it's harder for running backs. AJ Dillon.
Yeah.
Wandale Robinson?
That's not happening on AJ Dillon, but Wandale Robinson in the third, maybe. Yeah. Something like that.
Are you keeping Khalil Shakir in Dynasty?
I mean, yes. I will say that it is promising for his outlook that Isaiah McKenzie is the one who's the wide receiver 3 there, not Jamison Crowder. He's more likely to overtake Isaiah McKenzie than he was Jamison Crowder. Jamison Crowder's finished. I don't think Jamison Crowder is going to do anything.
I don't think any of us are really buying the Pacheco hype, are we?
To some degree.
Yeah.
To some degree, it is my answer. I have Isaiah Pacheco ranked ahead of Kyle Phillips, if that answers the question.
I don't buy it.
Because he's a running back?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
He has much more value upside than Kyle Phillips ever will. And then in the second question, I'll still take Tyquan Thornton. I'll still take the draft capital, but they're not that far off, actually.
Yep. I agree.
Yep. Bateman or
watch my video today.
Or hold. Oh,
he's a sell for. Actually, I have him 41. He's ranked 41 ADP, so he's. I'm fine either way.
We'll see you next week, Cameron Ward, Truther. Sell Peoples Jones for a second.
Sell him for third. I'd sell him for third. Watson's not complaining games, so I'll sell him for third.
Jeez.
Okay, this is so weird because he says if you're in on Zach Wilson, Elijah Moore is a wide receiver 1 steal. like all of Elijah Moore's production came with like
I
not
know.
Zach Wilson.
No, I am in on Elijah Moore though. Elijah Moore is very exciting. I'm in on him for this year.
Watched my video yesterday.
They signed Josh
Wow.
Johnson off the
Addison
street
has a lot
and
of
then
videos.
more chemistry.
I think that people should pay attention to Addison's videos.
25 first for Mills. That's good.
Okay, that's
Wow.
25, but I'd still rather that over 23 seconds.
No, yeah, first for sure.
First for sure.
Click that like button.
Yes, click it for Addison. He gets his wings.
I do.
All right. You guys are awesome. Appreciate everybody in the YouTube chat. We'll see you next week.